I never recorded at first. Anyways,
Okay.
yeah. So okay, so let's go. So I like this because I think that there's two different things. I think at first we're talking, you were talking about like what is the model that we're trying to build, which of course is great for us to have a discussion on. But this is different. This is like, what does Basil want? Like, hey, I'm Basil, like the person, and I might be Basil representing D Studio, and what are my needs? What am I actually trying to get out of this in a tangible way? So, um, yeah. So please go ahead.
So yeah, so 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 let's unpack like the quest of the open quest ongoing for writers for better worlds. Um so so we need blogs written, edited, especially written. Uh, so 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 the value proposition is for the contributor. So we need contributing writers. So the value proposition for the contributors uh, is is they get to sort of uh, contribute valuable services for the education, for the discourse. Uh, so they get to learn about new cool things in nature tech and climate tech and AI and all of that. So they get to learn about that stuff. Um, then they 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 at a certain point, or they may be eligible for some cash considerations, and they can uh and then we could potentially like um offer token considerations too. um and and so then as far as the HSC voucher system, so so if Better Worlds is receiving services from Holistic Systems co-op contributors, then 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 Holistic Systems would be like a partner with Better Worlds, a sponsor or partner of Better Worlds. So then HSC provides writer, blog writer. HSC gets branding, gets promotion on Better Worlds platform to get more people into HSC. So essentially advertising. So then the value for HSC is there, but then for HSC so then the writer contributes to the blog post. Then in my mind, they would receive um, like a contribution token voucher from HSC for that service. HSC is sort of writing it off as right now in this phase one as part of the proof of concept. But ultimately, there would need to be a value flow going to HSC in order to then create value flows to the people, to the contributors. Um, uh, but HSC could say, hey, writer, if you contribute to this blog, then you can which is valued at this much, like $250 or whatever, this amount. I would say more like $125 for like a simple blog. It's not like a in-depth story that they need to go out and like report on or anything. It's just like watch a video, write a blog about this video. So the real valuation could be quite low, but then that would need to be like tracked. So then the writer does the piece, they get the credit, they get the byline, HSC gets a byline or like, promotion and like backlinks. Um, and then the question is is that enough for HSC, for the marketing promotions of HSC, and then for the writer, the contributor, what are they getting from HSC? For, HSC is like, hey, HSC is going to like try a limited sort of partnership with Better Worlds Foundation to provide support for blog, starting with just like helping with some blog writing. We're looking for like one a week, or maybe more, but we can like figure out like the value per blog. And then we need a writer. In the beginning, it can be just like we can potentially just with your core team that includes you and others, um, uh, we can get this done as like a proof of concept for like how HSC supports a foundation, you know? Um,
So I have a different, so yeah, I get what you're saying. And
we need like real
I get
tangible actions to happen,
I get what
not
you're
just people
saying.
like,
But
yeah,
here's how the model how it's set up now, it facilitates the same thing, but to me is much, 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 much more simple.
okay,
It's very simple, which is that, holistic systems, I just jotted this down, but holistic systems is a resource pooling collective and a credit clearing manager, credit clearing, organization. So it's very simple. So in this way, you have a pool, right? And part of the pool is vouchers, is these, service vouchers, right? So you have an entity that's writers, right? So somebody says, hey, I'm a copywriter, that's one of my offerings, I'm putting in 10 hours worth of vouchers, right? Again, starting simple, we'll just say I'm putting in 10 hours worth of vouchers into the pool. And then Basil, you're saying, okay, I'm an entity, I'm D Studio / Better Worlds, I need writers, I'm going to redeem those vouchers. I redeem those vouchers either with actual, cash, right, that I put into the pool, and then I get out a voucher that I can redeem, or with D Studio / Better Worlds / Basil goods or services, right? So you're going to say, maybe in this example, keeping it simple, you'll say, I'm going to put in my
edit or photography
editing,
training.
I'm going to put in 10 vouchers for 10 hours of editing, right? And that's it, right? And so then you pay, you get editors. You don't have to make a trade. You don't have to make a trade. You basically just say, I'm putting mine in the pool. Anybody can redeem my vouchers, and I'm going to redeem these writers' vouchers, and that's it. And as far as HSC, again, in this phase one, as far as HSC is concerned, you all work out the details. You all you just figure,
Well, let's make it
talk to
action.
them. They,
Let's
so
let's get it done. let's get it done because I need writers. I need
Right. And so,
blogs
and
written
it's,
now.
I mean, does that make sense? Right. And it's so much more simple.
So, um, so what's the so for an entity to request to be able to like use vouchers for an entity to use vouchers, what does the entity need to do?
Yeah. So the entity, so it's just this, it's all a pool. If you think about it all, it's just this pool, of value. Uh, so for an entity to redeem vouchers, they just need to add to the pool. They need to add a certain amount to the pool. So if and so you add to the pool by either adding your own vouchers for your own goods and services, or by adding fiat money, you know, or a
Or
combination.
token or tokens.
Yeah, or a combination. So so
Oh, if
so
I got Haifa to be a sponsor for Better Worlds for Haifa tokens that Better Worlds Foundation has available, could then those be offered, those put into HSC like Quest redemption, you
you mean,
know,
are you saying you would pay pay for to redeem vouchers with Haifa tokens?
or any sort of Web3 that's you know that's valuable, that has value, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Not
I mean, I
necessarily
think that
like
you
Key
could.
Studio Honey, but like Haifa tokens have
Yeah,
real
but
value.
Haifa tokens don't have don't have no, I mean, they have speculative value now. So you know, I mean,
Yeah.
right, and within the the collective, right, we're gonna there will be co-op tokens. There's co-op tokens and community tokens, but those are to log contributions. Those are for internal. So another way that you can redeem vouchers is, and right, this is a key that I didn't forget, or I didn't say, but another way you can redeem vouchers is by earning co-op tokens, right? And you earn co-op tokens by contributing to the management, contributing to the management of HSC, right? So somebody still has to facilitate this. So people need to be doing, there has to be still jobs, a community manager, and someone sending the emails and someone managing the value exchange. So a person could fulfill those roles, and then they're gonna earn tokens that they can then redeem for vouchers. Also, contributions to the community. So if you refer a new member, right? So this is where you Basil could make, lots of tokens, right? You bring a new member in, then you're going to get community tokens, holistic system community tokens, right? And then at a certain number of those, you can redeem, vouchers. So that in that way, right? There's you get these services vouchers in different kinds of ways.
Hmm.
Um, and so it just, the numbers, the numbers just need to work. That the economics and tokenomics just need to work. So that way, the in the outflow is balanced, with the inflow
Hmm.
after like paying the operations people essentially, and paying for the contribution. So that's what yeah.
Um, okay. So for us to like turn on this writer thing, because I want like real tangible things that we can point to and say, look, we just did this. Um, uh, so let me show you or
Yes.
let me show you here. Let me share
Yeah,
screen.
yeah. Let me co-host. Yeah, I think to turn on the writers, we need to, I think there just needs to be enough. We need the initial seeding of the pool, which means we need, 25 people
Huh? Can't we do it with like two people?
at least to say, well, yeah, you can start. But essentially, what you have to do is there has to be enough. And this is one of the challenges, right? Is there has to be enough vouchers in the pool that people want in order, to bring in folks, to say, hey, if you're a writer, come and jump into the pool and submit your vouchers because you can exchange them for these things. There's also the other aspect of HSC, which is like, all of the other, value and capital that we're exchanging, which is, the social capital and the connections and the networking and the learning and the professional development and the, right?
Yeah, but for purposes of like showing something for real rather than waiting for this like magical number to appear, we just need one writer to like do some work. And then they need one writer, it could be you, it could be anybody that says, "Hey, I'll put in 2 tokens." And then we're like, "Okay, let's activate that. Try it." And then how'd that work? Was that good? And
Yeah,
then do it again. So that we like, shitty first draft so we can like bootstrap this. Because I need services now for the foundation. So here's the quest.
yeah,
The quest is Ma Earth is now in season 4. Um, the first the first quest is I want a blog written for this book launch on bioregional financing facilities with Samantha Power. So the assignment is like I need like a 500 word, you know, or more, but somewhere around 500 to 1,000 max, um, word blog about about for Better Worlds to like publish with this video as like the main key element. So there's the podcast, it's an hour long. That transcript can be pooled. AI can be used to kind of like grab some stuff, and then a writer can just like bang out like a 500 word, 2,000 word blog. They get the credit on, Better Worlds. It would go here. It would be like a featured thing, and then we would have the writer, Rob, Rob or whoever it is, and then we would just like then I would handle the deployment. So I just need the writer to write this.
yeah,
And this is, I mean, how long is this? This is like Laura wrote this, but I sent Laura a GPT pass and a Claude pass from the transcript, but then she wrote this out, and it can have like links to it or whatever. But the main thing is this is the copy, and so just like an initial writer to bang out like a blog, and then Kim can like edit it, and then we test that sort of flow for Better Worlds. So Better Worlds comes to HSC, um, asking for writers, and then so writers need to put vouchers into HSC. You know, like what do you think like a voucher for a writer would manifest as, like for just like a junior or mid, like level 1 writer or level 2 writer?
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
what
Well,
what is that? What is that? Yeah, what would that be? Because the value for this, um, if we had the budget to pay for it, then I would be wanting to assign like I don't know, like $100 of like fiscal fiat value to this, maybe $150. It takes like an hour to like go through the podcast, and then another hour, and then I don't know how long it takes someone to write 500 words if they're an experienced writer,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, a blog, it depends how, right? Like, the what, like quality level you need, something like this where it's pretty, you've got the information, you're just sort of turning it into a blog format, right? I mean, somebody could do that if that's their job, in an hour and a half,
Yeah, if they,
I
if,
mean,
if they're
you
if they're comfortable
bill
with
it an hour and
writing,
a half, something like that. So,
yeah.
I mean, so I think that I think that your use case, to me sounds great for holistic systems and for this, this voucher idea for what we're talking about here. Because what you're saying is you need writers, but like you don't just have money to just go and spend on writers.
It's a
For
foundation or an NGO. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not at this. I mean, not at this point, right? Like it's not in the budget, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
there's
Like maybe
something.
maybe like 50, maybe like 25 to $50 could be like scrounged together. But like
Yeah, so you have right. So you have your need, right? And I think that this works. I mean, I can't like. I hear you on right now. I mean, I'm trying to sort of get it going as fast as I can. I mean, as far as the timeline of HSC, I think right now it is it's working on the model, and it's making sure that it's going to meet people's needs like yourself, and then it's building it out
we
on a
don't need
tool.
we don't need the tool to make this happen. We just need a ledger. We just need like our internal core alpha testers to do it. If you wait until you
Well,
have the
but
data,
here's the
you won't
thing.
be.
Here's the thing, right? Like, how many alpha core testers do we need? And if you get a certain, and then and then where are you getting them? Like, like, if I'm saying, like, if we're just bringing in like, core people, if we have 5 people alpha testing this or something, yeah, we don't need much. But if I say, well, let's get 25 people, then I better have, some kind of onboarding process, and I
But
better
you
have
keep
some
working
sort
on
of
that.
some
You
tool
keep
that they
working
can
on that.
tweak.
But let's like manifest the actual like work, skill shares, the actual like the actual work and put the valuation on those vouchers. We need to like execute, build it while we're flying, like we need to be flying and like you can build it, because then you're responding to like the feedback loops. You need feedback loops. There's nobody in this meeting but me, um, because I'm with you and I see the potential, I have vision, but I want like action, not just thinking, but action. Um,
It's,
and
I
this
mean,
is
like,
a perfect case because like
the
you
pro
could like
and
watch
it's the
one of these tokenomics
process.
things because it's already in your field. You've already been writing for hypha. You're already in the mindset for like nature-based currencies, and so you're already in that mindset. So you could put in a voucher, or maybe we could ask like um, uh, somebody else that's in our closest circle to like, hey, we have a foundation that needs blogs written, better worlds, and then we want to start testing just like the valuation, the voucher valuation. We just need to like start to like properly model it out so you don't spend the next 2 years as you want to do in your head by
No, it's
yourself.
not 2 years. It's not 2 years. I mean, I've got pretty good timelines here. By the middle of September, I'd like to have the model just sort of say, hey, this is the model, and then I'd like to have it, the tool built out by end of year, ready to use. I think that's a pretty, you know, reasonable timeline for something, right, that doesn't actually have a budget or funding yet. I mean, I only have so much time, so I can't like create the model, architect that, build the tool, and then also be, going out and getting people at the same time. So if, like if you want to like take that on, then we can do it as as part of the HSC, um, project.
Yeah,
But
I want
I can't
people
do like,
doing
I
real
can't take
things.
on all those jobs at the same time.
No, that's my problem because I can't take on that job because I'm not an experienced writer, but I need the writing. So
I hear you,
like
and that's what I think we're trying to build. As you can see, I think that's what we're trying to build at HSC, is this thing that's going to provide that for you.
okay, but like what, like I want it kind of now. So like what can we do in like like super short term, like in the next, like, because like if you don't have time, to put in, then like, we need to like prove the point that there's somebody who's willing to write a blog for a HSC voucher, or be able to contribute their writing voucher into the HSC system. We need proof of concept that somebody will do that, not you.
I agree. I
And
wholeheartedly
then and then
agree.
and and,
All I'm
and
saying
then
is that my plan is you know at least make sure that there is a system to then hold the people that are coming for proof of concept. I don't want like I don't know. Yeah, to me
okay, so
that's
describe the key UX UI of the system. What is the user experience for the system? What are the actions that the person will be doing?
right. There's I mean, the core thing, your core piece is the member profile, right?
Okay.
So there's a member profile and a member portal. So the member profile has your information, has your needs, your offers. And then the second piece is like the actual vouchers, right? So you're putting in, so there has to be a way for you to like put in a voucher. There has to be a way for people to see like this is the pool of vouchers. And then then to be able to like log those exchanges, so that way they go on the ledger. And there has to be there's a third piece here, a way for them to log their the contributions. um
Okay, let's stop there for a second. So that, profile is profile. The key thing is the voucher process. So you're thinking that somebody types in voucher type, like service, product, type of service, level of service.
Something like that.
So that ultimately at the end of the day we'll be generating a smart contract in the future, not now, but
Hopefully, yeah, that's the idea in the future.
but we need
but
to sort of
but
have
now
the sort of
it's but now
have
I
the
don't
web
think
have the
it's
web
now it's like it's web 2. I
yeah, but
would
we
say,
have to have the web 2 data entry
at
for
least for now.
the fields, and the goal is that that will ultimately become a web 3 voucher in the future. We'll just like, connect the dots to like, through chain or whatever, chain link or whatever, um, to like author the smart contract. Then that voucher goes onto the web 2 ledger for now. In the future it'll be like in on the chain,
Yeah,
or
yeah, I mean,
not,
no.
or maybe it's not on the chain until it's like redeemed or so, something like that.
Yeah,
But the main thing is the person goes into the HSC portal, starts their profile, and then they create their first voucher. And so Basil, I create a voucher for um, uh, for photography, um, one-on-one photography training.
yeah,
Um, uh, and that's my first voucher. Then I create a voucher for like one-on-one Adobe Premiere or Photoshop or whatever, you know. So like something I can do remotely.
yeah,
Um, and then I create a voucher for that. So then I put in like uh, uh, the domain or what, so like photography training, and then like some sort of specific, or in the beginning just like a short paragraph.
yeah. And I think
You
it would
know?
be mostly right. Like this, it's mostly the same thing as like with our needs, especially with the offerings, right? So everybody in their profile is going to have like all their offerings. Just like we start with this whole person resume. But that doesn't necessarily mean everybody's offerings that they put in are going to are going to be actual vouchers. So, um, but it is the same idea. I mean, the voucher has to be more, more specific, but the needs and offerings database list is just so people can look and match up with each other. But a voucher is is more uh, controlled and
So the
more
key
specific.
tension is I need service, I don't have money, I do have time. Here's what I can offer. Here's what I need. So that's the key value proposition almost like um so okay, so as far as like so that I can help you get to um the tool as fast as humanly possible so that I can put it through its paces, so we can get to prototype ASAP. Um uh it'll be like so the profile you've already got that sorted out, right? That's pretty easy for the profile part. What is the what is your first MVP sort of thing going to be? Are you going to use AI to build something
I mean,
or
I think on the back end, it's just really like it's all kind of this database. It's really just database. So I don't know. I don't know what the tool is going to be at this point. The default tool is probably going to be Airtable. Uh,
copy to start?
because
Okay.
Airtable, we can set up that as a great relational database, put all the data in there, have it, you know, relate and link to each other. And nowadays we can actually create like the user facing portal, the app, right? The interface. So that way, it's no code, app builders and things like that, right? So um, that way somebody can just, right, you have a member and they just go and they can enter their profile information in there. They can go and search, they can create a voucher and enter it into the pool. They can enter in their community contributions. um, but it's still, I I don't actually, as long as the tool is, it's something like that, is like web 2 is something that I could build without using code. And I think that's what this next iteration is going to be. I don't think we're ready for web 3 yet.
No,
um,
just it's called the shitty first draft. It just
but
needs
i
to
but i
like
think that
start
i think
functioning.
that's not going to even be the problem. I think it's making sure that we're in alignment with what people want. I think it's making sure that the model makes sense. If I could get like a week off, I think I could just build the whole freaking thing. I just need like a week in my lab. It's the time, but there's also this
So
aspect
I
of
bailed Pavel out for
bringing
his
people
rent.
in and onboarding people, and there's also this aspect as we go along, of like this of value indexing. I mean, it's so, but that's going a little beyond your question, which is, I mean, I
Step
think
by step. So
Airtable right now,
when we have
Airtable or something else like that is going to be what the next sort of iteration be built on. If I had to
yeah,
guess.
yeah. No, right now we just need like people to put in information and then you're building a database of people and their offers and their needs. But mainly their offers, right? So anyway, the point is to get quickly to action. So so I could potentially like uh um so I put in like $900 to Pavel recently. So he owes me $900. So and he's obviously a whiz at like database and building the UI, the custom forms to go into that database, working with Google, working with Airtable, whatever we need. Um, so, uh, so, so it's possible that we could that I could like move that as investment into HSC, um, and then have him put in his vouchers essentially, his time vouchers, um, and for us to exhaust those to like get a robust like MVP,
Yeah.
to then show people, execute, put it through its paces, and then go for more funding to hopefully pay him or somebody else more to like, to build so that you like you said, like you could build it, it'll take you a bit longer, um, and you don't know all of the back end tricks and how to build tunnel and all of that stuff, but we're in this position now where I could like put him to work, and have him bang out an MVP. Um, and that you just need to give the direction of like what do you need it to do. You're like,
Interesting.
so if you could just say like, um,
Well,
I
I'm going
need
to
a
build it with, yeah, I mean, I co-build it with somebody, but if I'm co-building it with somebody with Pavel, right, then he can be the lead actual like hands-on builder.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
There's no reason I
that's
can't, if I don't, I can't build it out myself. But right, I'll take help. I mean, I'll
you would
take
build it
help
with
in
JavaScript.
any
Yeah,
and all ways.
yeah.
Um,
So just to get to the MVP as fast as possible so that we can start the flow so that then we can turn our attention to fundraising and like action, and then iterative development.
yeah, but I think we need, right, there needs to be there's no point in, I think, building just I think the MVP needs to be, and I think it can, be functional in all the ways that it needs to be, right?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So what
So
does it need to, what are the functions in the MVP that are necessary? So profiling, with all of that data,
yeah.
cool.
So the
Let's
the
go.
mem yeah. So the member profile, right? So the member profile, functionality, not right, and all that data, and then it needs, right. There's you know two things, right? It needs to be able to track essentially like track the different kinds of contribution, right? So what that is in this very basic, I think easy to understand way, there's 4 ways that people can contribute to the pool, right? They can add vouchers for goods and services. They can d- contribute to the community in different ways. They can contribute their time towards the operations of the community, managing it, running it, or they can contribute fiat money. So so there needs to be a way, right? And these are the different, so there needs to be a way to, for people to log those. And then, the community contributions, it's a little easier, right? People can log things, but there also needs to be a way for those to get, confirmed or verified. And the actual vouchers, right? The same thing. We don't have to work out the details between you and the writer and all that, but there's still this way where we need we need to confirm that we need to have a way for somebody to redeem the voucher, and then once it's there has to be confirmed that they actually completed the services. So all of this is doable on the back end. The help that I think that's going to be really important that we'll need, right, is some of this management, this behind the scenes management and curation, because the better we were able to onboard people, the easier it's going to be, and the more apt they're going to be to utilize it. So there's a whole onboarding, process, and then there's a whole, then there's the whole value exchange process, which needs to be, curated and managed, and
Okay.
uh, so
What we need is we need like on Mural or Miro, we need the user map or the user journeys. We need like the 3 or 4 different kind of user journeys here.
mm,
We need that to be visible because then that's the UX. That's the
mm,
MV, that's where we get the MVP UX.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been describing like a user journey today, at least one, but we can quickly bang out like like you know like three or four different like core initial user journeys. You know, um, uh, um, like uh,
That's
the
great.
user journey for the service provider. That's the user journey for the entity, the organization, or the
Hmm.
um, and then and so and those are two core user journeys. There's the person that has services, um, and they want to do like cool things. They have some extra services that they can provide to do some cool things. And then there's the entity that needs services. So they come into HSC looking for services.
Hmm.
Um, so that's two verticals or horizontals. Uh, and then HSC matches those two together, or it provides the marketplace to to match. Um, there might be a an operational person who's playing like coordinator.
Yeah.
You know, um, you know,
But I like
and
this. These user journeys, they're because they're based on like what the people want out of it, right?
yeah, yeah. So we want to like spit out a bunch of different possible user journeys, but it's like like so somebody like a Trent, and we can put names on them. So like Trent, you know, he um he wants to provide he needs training. He needs skills training. He's a junior.
Hmm.
Um, but he does have services he can provide. So it's like say you're a 20 something or 30s, or say that's one user journey, you know and then you want to like contribute to like positive impact. Um, you have some skills, or you have some skills, some know-how that you can provide as offers, but you also need training in XYZ, training in editing, or training in whatever. Trent needs help training as like, he wants to sort of run it. He needs training in like NGO administration, you know, how to, be a good like director, or NGO director, or or manager. Um, uh, so so that would be something. Then there's like the user journey of like a skilled, like an expert, like a Pavel. So then like we can have like Pavel as a user journey, and Pavel, he also wants to like help um, organizations grow. Um, and he has um, offers, um, but the offer that's easiest for him to do virtually, that he could put maybe some vouchers in, it is like coaching, executive coaching. um you know Julian Goudelet, he needs help with his businesses. He needs services, but he also, so it's like we can create like, you know the the yeah, so with our like the people that we know, we could create avatars and user journeys for those avatars. So for Trent, for Troy, for Basil, for Rob, for Pavel, for Kim, whoever. So we could create these avatars, and then organizations like Better Worlds, um, foundation, media publisher foundation, um, Restorathon, uh, you know, event production,
Yeah.
organization, um, so just with like within our four core, we can like spread out a bunch of different like user journeys. And then we look at those and we're like, okay, so what are the main functions that the tool needs to provide to serve most or all of those?
Yeah.
So we need the the profile, Q&A to like put in, needs, wants, offers, or whatever. We need to be able to like capture that for each organization or person. So we have like kind of a point A is like you enter the portal. Are you an organization or are you a person? And then you start to like go down the data entry to sort of build the profile for the entity or the person. Um, and then at the end of that process, it's like, okay, would you like to um, uh, create a voucher for future work, or would you like to create a quest for current need or something like that? So like I need this now, or
Yeah.
or
And
soon,
you see, I think what you're speaking to here is good, in in as much as I think what you're speaking to here is a way that a place that we can get started soon or even immediately before the tool is actually built. Right. So I think that there is something, and this is something that Christine and I have been working on, and Christine actually, is starting it. Um, but the more the merrier. But this onboarding process,
yeah.
we don't need the tool to be built to get people started with the onboarding process. And in fact, that is what I think is going to speed things up, is because then when the tool's built, we already have people who are set. They're sort of like, oh, okay, this is, you know, we have 10 or 15 people who already have all their member profile information, who we already know, oh, this is what we want, so it's like, yeah, so I think that's a way where direct action can be taken now
Hmm.
at the same time as the framework is being decided upon and the tools are being built, and I think that they can inform each other.
Exactly.
So I think that's a great
Like
place.
doing it manually, like we get the profile. That's
We can even start, people can even start exchanging, right? We can have it just on a spreadsheet, right? If there's not going to be that many people, we have, like, just as long as there's somebody to facilitate it, right? You have people
yeah,
start exchanging on a spreadsheet, and then when the tool's ready, we just drop that information in there. So
yeah. Like, but we could also like um so like for you and definitely for Pavel, like to if we gave him like clear direction, like we need like an MVP sort of uh profile data collection, and then you have like the list of like the things that we're looking to gather, um and then we need a way to for people to like commit a quest or a voucher, a request for service. I'm looking for a writer, so they commit that and a card is generated, and then we have like a UI that's simple for people just to go to on the HSC site eventually, and they can look for like requests just like they would for an Upwork or anything else. Um, and then you can go, and then we have a way to like browse the people and like what they offer. So not a spreadsheet. Like, I mean, there will be a spreadsheet like our back end, but I think it's really simple enough for us to have like a super basic,
Yeah, the user interface works. I
Right.
mean, somebody already built this out, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's that's the other thing that I'm working on at the same time is I'm talking with other organizations, right, that are doing similar things, right? So I'm talking with the folks at GaiaNet. I'm talking with a couple other people at organizations, right? Like these base functions, right? Everybody like they're the core functions because they're the core functions, right? So having a member profile, with needs, with offers, right? Having a reputation and feedback, that connects to the profile. Everybody's got that. So um, what I'm trying to do at this stage, before picking a tool and building it out, is trying to connect with these other projects and say, hey, how can we how can we combine on this? Can we combine on the tool, on the basic user interface, or at least can we have our data profiles be interoperable? um, so that way, people can join, any of the organizations, but then jump into, the other one easily. So that's the other kind of,
That's another user journey, kind of. That's another
yeah.
like, um, yeah. So that's another case.
So it's another consideration. It doesn't, kind of change what we're doing, what the core functionality of HSC is, but it does, you know, it's a consideration as far as like what tools do we use, for this next MVP version.
Okay.
Um,
So
and
Dianet.
we,
So
are there partners that are building it? Because right, not not the value exchange part, but somebody has already built out, a prototype, member portal.
okay. So I'm on the Gaianet.earth. I'm going to their members. Open the public member database. So they are it's just Airtable.
Yeah, they're
Um,
still on there. That's their version from like 2 years ago, right? So they're in the same process now of deciding on tools, and deciding on the platform. So they have, we're at similar places, meaning that we've kind of come up with basically like what the goal, like what the goal is, and the general kind of framework to utilize. And then what's the tool?
mm-mm.
So, it may align or it may not align, but it's great to connect with them anyways. I think that the more interoperability that we can have with other groups that are doing, similar things, the better.
Okay, so I'm looking at theirs. So like, so Yohim says superpowers, bridging tech and business, entrepreneur connector, reach out for DAOs, reach out for DAOs. So it's like, so Gaianet is like people, they just have it in superpowers, like,
Yeah, I mean
connect
that's
for this, and then
like,
like, and then whether or not they're open to connect.
yeah,
So
that's
it's
really an
super
old
basic.
that's a super old version. It's just an old version, and so
Have they not updated it since then?
no, they haven't updated it. That's
Okay, so this is an opportunity. So they already have this like list of people.
yeah, they have the list of basically they're working, yeah, projects and people, right, and for them their big thing is about like the connecting folks, so that's why I think
Right. So if they're like the outreach to like pull people in, and then you and Pavel and me, we could focus on like, or especially like you and Pavel could like focus on like building the tool,
yeah, the
then we would have a shiny tool that would impress everybody, you know.
yeah, I think
Um,
that's where we're complementary right there.
it's not just like a fucking Notion, sorry, pardon my French,
uh,
um, or Airtable, display. But Airtable is fine for work, but when I'm looking at this Airtable, it's missing that sort of like real tangible action,
well,
you know,
this
type of
Airtable
people.
is not. I mean, this, again, this is like, you got to think this is like old,
Few
right?
years old.
But
Yeah.
this Airtable, it doesn't have the user interface. So that's where the essentially that's the huge upgrade is because what theirs is that's just a database you're looking at. You can't even change your own profile. The upgrade for them and for us is the member profile, is the user portal that a user goes in, they can do all the stuff they need to do and they can't break anything, just like with most user interfaces. It's so with LinkedIn, right, you go in and you can do all the things you need to do on LinkedIn, for example, right,
Mhm.
but you can't like go in and touch the data for LinkedIn. You're not going to break it anything. So
Mhm.
that's the upgrade.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, this is great. Okay, yeah, I want to kind of like, okay, so, because I want to kind of bring Pavel in like stat because it's August 20th and we have this window of time to like get him to build a tool. He's a great tool builder, in JavaScript. He can just bang shit out. So uh
Yeah,
you know, and like, you
but I don't
know,
know that I don't know that we want a custom developed tool for this next iteration,
well,
because
he's also still a whiz with Airtable.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
setting that up like correctly for like an MVP bootstrapping like proof of concept before building the custom system. Um, uh, so yeah, so like
Yeah.
building that unbreakable Airtable system with like the various displays. So it's like for me, it's like the the form entry for the person, and then we have all of those rich data fields for them. And then there's like the form for the that holds the for entering a voucher. So essentially like we have the people, we have vouchers. Yeah, so what are the database like the main elements, the
The
main
main
items?
elements here, and I'll share my screen. I mean, this is an older, excuse me. This is the older prototype version, but essentially, like as far as the data, right? We need there's the contributions, right? So people need to enter when they made a community contribution, right? So I was a note taker at an HSC meeting. Okay, so I enter that. I don't have the user interface, set up here, but
Mhm.
I enter that, right? So that goes into a log, that logs all the contributions, and then of course that all gets tallied up, right? But essentially, number one is the contribution, and number two is the value exchanges, which this is an old version, but essentially this is like the freaking vouchers, right? So
Mhm.
the data is that people need to interact with. It's is the vouchers and is the contributions, and there's two different types of contributions, right? There's the HSC roles and then just the community contributions.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay, so
and then those need to then get, yeah.
yeah, so okay, so um
And right, and it has to, yeah, so that's the kind of the main idea, but then there's on the back end, especially with the vouchers, there's special, right, and I don't even, there may be programs already for this, but with the vouchers, you really have to be thinking about it as like a credit clearing system. So mutual credit. So there has to be a way to um, to make limits on the amount of vouchers that a person you know has in the pool, and the amount of vouchers that a person has, amount of debts and the amount of credits.
copy. Copy.
There's
Yeah,
also
it's a
we have
time voucher credit clearing. Copy.
yeah.
So 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 let's talk about the life cycle of a voucher. So the life cycle of a voucher is created. Um, in your sort of preliminary in your where you're at now with like the voucher says like one um like a voucher for like a one-on-one Skillshare on Adobe Photoshop, beginner or intermediate,
Yeah.
one-on-one, and then that voucher goes in, then uh, and then the so like I put in the voucher, but like say like my time is like $100 an hour, so it's like $100 for a session, or around $100 for a session. That's the US dollar valuation for the service voucher. So I put in this like service voucher, and then somebody else wants to like use that. They want to use that voucher. Um, so for them to like, but say they don't have any vouchers on the system yet, but they see something that they want.
Yeah.
So what do they do? What is that user journey?
Yeah. So that user journey. So they basically say either if we're saying the voucher value, you know, so first of all, there has to be like a baseline, voucher value, right? And now, this is sort of talking value indexing. So there's different there's different ways to do this, and I think in the end of the day, it's going to be one of the really juiciest kind of explorations of what we do. But starting out in a simple way, we can say, okay, well, there's four levels of vouchers, right? There's level 1, 2, 3, 4. One is $25. I think we talked about this, yeah, last week, a couple weeks ago. 25, 50, 75, 100. Right. So a baseline voucher, is $25. And we're saying like
Okay.
the unit of a unit of time, is the time, an hour is the unit of measurement. Right. So you say, hey, I'm putting in, you know, a level 4, voucher for one-on-one training. A
Okay.
person comes in, they say, oh, I'd like that. They can either seed the pool with $100, and then they can then take that voucher and then redeem it. Um, or they can put in at the very least 4 sort of baseline vouchers. Say they're like, okay, well, I want to offer, whatever, virtual piano lessons. I'm not very good at, I'm okay. So I'm going to put those in for level 1. So they have to put in at least 4 baseline vouchers, and that's it, right? And now their vouchers are in the pool, so they're backed by their commitment to redeem those, right? So and then they can take yours, and then you are obligated to redeem, to take that voucher for your services.
And then they give a feedback, like in Fiverr or whatever,
Yeah,
like how to
yeah,
go.
yeah,
So we have like the stars and the da 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 da. So we collect the feedback loop that you know that we can work with later for rating or whatever. You know,
yeah,
or for part of that curation process.
yeah.
Um, but uh, but then um, but then what do I? But then what do I get after I provide the service?
You now have four. You now have
So I have a score that goes
you now
up,
have 4 credits.
4 credits.
That's right.
Copy.
So you now have
So
four
so
baseline. You now have 4 baseline vouchers.
so I have four like non-committed vouchers essentially, just like credits, 4 credits
Yeah.
that then I can apply to then I can receive other voucher services from other people, or I can move those credits
Because they're
eventually.
actually right. They're actually. It's not even like if there's a good video that Will did. Will Rudick, who is like who I got the whole commitment pooling voucher idea from. Right. That's his idea. Let's just name that very clearly.
Commitment pooling voucher system. Okay.
Yeah. And I'll, I'll put the. Let's see. Where is I put the link in. Um, but there's a good video that he has that's actually really simple. Here, I'll pull it up now. We don't have to watch the whole thing, but it is short. And it's helpful. Right. So ideally what we do, and this is why it'd be nice to have to have sort of once the MVP is up, we say then we can actually start to seed the pool, with money. Because if you seed the pool, so this is the pool and then these are people's vouchers, right? So everybody, if we seed the pool initially, that's what you do. You're going to put in your voucher and then you get money. So we don't have to do that. Everybody can just seed the pool initially with vouchers, but if we have a little bit of money, that you can take out, then like it,
There's a liquidity pool.
yeah.
So, so, uh,
So yeah, but everybody, right? So like, yeah, I get this, but right, just to name. So if you're like, even if we sort of say no, there's no kind of money in there, somebody still has to right there. So you put in, let's say, you put in an orange voucher, one, and that's worth 4. So somebody is actually redeeming it they're redeeming. I guess it is a credit, right? They're just redeeming it with like 4 vouchers. So I'm going to just say this again from the start. So you put in, essentially like 4 baseline vouchers, and then somebody else puts in, 4 baseline vouchers. So you both have 4, like sort of 4 credits in the pool. And then somebody is going to then redeem yours. Yeah, I guess I'm saying the same thing. And then you just have credit, 4 credits within the system for vouchers.
yeah. So I join HSC. Um, I go through the profile system, and then I put in a voucher that I'll offer an offer. I'll put in an offering and say it's a level 4 voucher. Um, uh, and then uh, and then and I put in a level 4 voucher. Then somebody like asks to like get that voucher. I confirm yes, for that person, and then we execute the service, and then we complete the service, and then the and then I say complete, and then they say complete with like, and then there's like feedback loops gathered, like a post action report. And then but the main thing is when I complete and it's verified through the recipient that I completed it, then I get credits equal to the voucher. In this case, it's level 4, so I get four credits.
Yeah, because you've actually, right, you don't actually, you, here's, okay, this is the thing that I've been missing. As soon as you put in those 4 baseline vouchers, you get 4 credits. So you can put in, when you put in those 4 vouchers into the pool, right?
Oh,
Then you can initially, right then and there, go and redeem services from somebody else.
it's time banking kind of. So yeah, so that it's like, so this is based upon trust that then, even if I use my credits right then and there, at some point in the future, when somebody wants to use my voucher, it's available,
That's
and
right.
and I complete. And if I don't, then we have a process for, like, managing that.
That's right. That's exactly.
Copy. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah. So right. So that's sorry, I was sort of missing that, right? So you don't get 4 credits when somebody redeems it. You get 4 credits the second you put your commitments into the pool.
right. Um,
So
okay.
that's a way where, right, it's nice if it's seeded with some money. And and part of it is, part of the model right now is people need to pay a membership fee, even if that's $10 a month, so then that helps to seed things. But I think one of the things, I think is great about this, especially for our situation, right, is that it doesn't actually require money to seed the pool.
Okay. So
Because
let's
I can put in 10 Rob vouchers, you put in 10 Basil vouchers, 10 Christine, 10 Saya, but and then okay, we've got stuff. We can start going. We just
yeah.
need to the key to this model. Sorry, I don't want to cut you
No,
off.
keep, no, keep.
To me, the key to the model is that people's contributions, not vouchers, but their contributions to to operations or just to the community, their community contributions, um, that those tokens they receive then get redeemed for vouchers, at a certain rate. So the key to, I think, making it all work is to have enough fiat money coming into the pool in order to seed the number of vouchers that are going to be redeemed, for tokens.
Wait, stop there. Okay.
I
So
can,
you're saying that a liquid treasury is needed, um, uh, in order for
yeah, I can demonstrate it here in this simulation.
okay. So let's go step by step here. So okay. All right.
So yeah,
A
so to me
voucher.
the key is, right, is this voucher balance, right? So the number at the this is like a month, right? So this is a month simulation. So at the end of the month, the number of vouchers redeemed, needs to, generally speaking, balance the number of vouchers that are in the pool. Um, and this model makes an assumption that people are going to, people are going to add the same number of vouchers into the pool that people redeem, right? So if you start with 100 vouchers in the pool, people add 50, they take away 50, right? Obviously, that's the easy way to keep a balance. But the key is that you need to that in this simulation, right? There's 12 extra vouchers that have been redeemed for the 100, redeemed for the 100 operational hours and the 300 community tokens, right? So those turn into, an extra 12 vouchers, right? People redeem those, and so there needs to be 12, you know vouchers worth of fiat money coming in order to seed that, in order to make it all work.
Okay, let me try to grasp this. So okay. Um, So, okay, so you're saying that, so like, um, number of actual vouchers seeded into pool from money inflow. So, okay, let's just walk through the fiat process here. So you're saying the $100 comes in how?
Uh, no, not 100. Yeah. So let me walk you through it. So this is like the fiat money, right? So you take basically, um, so in this model, right, you have 25 members, and each person pays, $10 a month, right? So you have $250 coming in from membership fees. We're going to just say an additional $100 is just contributed by investors, or just, my mom or whatever. Um,
Donors, not investors. Don't, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
right. Donors, not investors. Hopefully, at a certain point, it can actually be investors, but I don't know that we're there yet.
Yeah, how would they be, how would they benefit?
Well, there has to be an eventual sort of, like liquidity that can be cashed out, but that's not really in like the plan at this point. Um, so yeah, donors. Okay, you're right, donors. Um, okay, so basically the total money that come. Oh yeah, and then if we're saying, okay, well, we're going to charge a 50-cent transaction fee for per voucher redeemed. Again, these fees are so that way we can run the thing.
That's the profit generator. Okay.
Um, right? So
So
so the total
per
money,
voucher.
if so this is just the money transaction from transaction fees. All right, so we say the total money coming in is $391. All right, so
Okay.
that's the fiat money inflow. Then we're going here. This is like operations and community contributions. So this is actually, really it's outflow, but this is basically like the management of and the running of the back of the system. So
Okay. So
so basically,
those people that are doing core operations, um, what are they receiving?
right? So they receive. So again, we're saying like, okay, well, there's 100 hours. We're going to say they receive. Everybody in operations receives one token per hour. So that's one token per hour. Um, and and then what you can do with the tokens, I think there's a few other things that we can do to buy, like to get, you can pay for your tokens to get community rewards. The more things of value there, then the less fiat money we have to bring in. But just talking about fiat, right? Remember what they can do with their tokens is they can redeem a voucher, right? So that's something that's worth something. So I can earn tokens, and then I can redeem a Basel voucher. Um, but what we have here are these like the conversion numbers, and these are like the levers that we can play with in order to make the model work. So right now we're basically saying it takes four operations tokens in order to redeem one baseline voucher worth $25. Um, and
It takes four operational tokens.
to earn
So
one voucher. So that means I have to, at this point, right? I have to spend, I have to work 4 hours.
so that means that your value per hour is $7.
Yeah.
That's quite low, yo.
Uh, right. But this is, like, this is basically what we're saying is anybody who's, I mean, it's
Not
better than
sustainable.
nothing. What we're saying,
$7 is below minimum wage.
yeah, yeah, but these are internal operations, right? So what we'd like to do is get this money, raise it up, so that way people can make like $25 an hour for internal
That's
operations.
still like barely minimum wage. Like that's still low for a tech company. Or
Yeah, but who are the people initially putting in these operational hours? It's dinguses like you and me and other people who don't get paid anything, right? So if this thing works, all of a sudden, at least I'm getting paid $7 an hour, whereas right now I'm getting paid exactly $0 an hour for my contribution. Now,
I would say that when you're contributing and you're not getting paid cash, then your token value is quite high. because you're taking risk. So anyway, these are like numbers again we can parse through as far as the valuation, but essentially, you know,
If you want to get to every hour you earn being $25 an hour, then that money
a
has to come from
hundred, it has to
somewhere.
be 100 because if it's not, then I'm losing. I'm losing money. I'm losing. I'm like going in further into debt. I'm sinking. I'm sinking. I'm
Okay, but
sinking.
why are people why are you contributing your time now?
I'm taking risk now for reward later.
Yeah. Well, look, hopefully, and I'm not saying that this is the ratio that
Sure.
that I'm not saying this is the ratio that and the amount of money that people earn um longer term. In fact, what I've realized, what I've done is the more members that are here, the more the more actual fiat money that comes in, the less that the more the voucher balance goes in the right direction. The
Yeah,
larger the
I
companies.
think $10 a month is like is going to be a potentially hard sell for scale. Um, uh, you're losing a lot of people with that, especially globally. Uh,
Okay. Yeah, but
uh,
but people can also say, oh, well, I'll just do internal operations, and then you don't have, they don't have to pay money
okay.
for their
But
membership.
I'm still trying to see like get to like where your exit is down there near the bottom.
Okay.
You so like how do people exit with cash?
They People exit. Okay, here. Well, here it is. So this is where the distribution comes in. So this is the money inflow, and this is the people, whatever, the outflow. I guess it should be. Oh yeah, I'm calling it inflow distribution. It should just be outflow, maybe. But all right. So basically, you take this number 391, right, and you um, percent of and then basically here we just decide how much goes where. So we're saying, okay, well, in this model, we're saying 75% goes to seed the vouchers, 10% of money goes to the curators and operators, and 15% of money goes to overhead. So we can change these
Well,
um,
let's just stop with like, why do you need to seed the vouchers?
because that's the exit. That's the primary exit for earning for contributions, is that you get a voucher, you get a credit in the voucher pool, which you can then redeem for services.
There's no cash. There's still no cash in that. Where's the cash? Why do we need cash in that if we're just trading time?
Because the vouchers have to get, yeah, you can't create a voucher from nothing,
You,
right? You can't, yeah, we can't seed the pool just from nothing,
oh,
or
so
else
I can't just like create vouchers and say I'm creating like four
that's the
vouchers.
system we have now. Right? That is our system. Banks create money from nothing, right? They just say, "Hey, we're just going to create more money."
These are loans. I'm loading my time for a return of equal time, even though it might come in a different form. Um, uh, so, but I'm still seeing like
So,
where the
yeah, I mean, this
where
isn't.
the where the
Yeah, so
money.
so tell me, I don't want to, because right, this model isn't in stone, but where, like, so the thing is, if you have a where's
I think that's why we need the horizontal like user journey, and like person A comes in, they create everybody does the profile, and then they create voucher, or or they request the use of a voucher. And so if they create a voucher, here's what happens. Done, done, done. And we follow through the chain. And like if there's somewhere where there's money available, as a possibility, then we put that into that horizontal map. It's hard to look at lines like this. This is because this is math. I don't know if you have all of these connected. Like when you double click on that 0.75, that is only applying to what? What is the math? There's no math there. There's
Well,
math
this is
there.
the 75. This is what
That's
the
a fixed
but
number
this
that you
is
have. Yeah.
everything that's a darker shade has math,
Oh, okay. All
and
right.
then the inputs are all just white.
Okay. So, okay. So, um, so building the economics of this,
Yeah,
um, the operations, I still feel like Haifa's system, the way Haifa works, is still the best way for like the core operations, wherein you receive co-op token, you receive payout token if there's available cash to pay people in operations, and then the voice token for that core.
yeah,
And those tokens. Now, then the co-op tokens, those are utility tokens. Those don't have any tangible value, but they're issued at like X rate, a dollar per token. So when you collect, you know, 25 co-op tokens, you can redeem those for one voucher. So when you're doing like actual work for HSC and like say it was like
but those yeah, I like that. I mean, I get it. It's just
two separate economies.
those
There's like
the vouchers have to we can't create vouchers from out of thin air, or else the credit, like people's credits run out. Like the vouchers are based on actual value that's put into the pool, the promise of value.
yeah, but we're sitting like a level one, two, three, four. Level one is approximately $25 of value, um, and level four is approximately $100 of value. But so like separating operational people that are receiving co-op tokens,
Okay.
separating those out. We have the general HSC membership that's coming in and they're putting in a membership fee, or there's a way for them to like not have to pay that membership fee if they do X, Y, or Z in exchange, which effectively is work. They can do it for like work trade,
Yeah.
work trade option for the fee. So it's like fee or work trade. So then we have the membership pool, um, and then we have like the members, you know, putting like creating vouchers. They're like, I'm going to create a voucher for this service and this service and this service, and they're creating vouchers. And every time they create a voucher and they list it as like a level one, two, three, or four or whatever
Hmm.
voucher, then when they commit it and it gets verified, they get issued credits, voucher credits.
Right.
So then we end up with like so then we have like vouchers go into the pool, and then we have credits that go to the people that are putting in the vouchers after the voucher and the person's been verified. And like you said, we set limits so people just can't keep putting in vouchers in, you know. But we have a limit of vouchers that can be like maintained at any given point in time. If we want to close a service voucher, cancel it, then we're putting those credits back and canceling the voucher. So we have a way to cancel the voucher. So Basil's like, I don't want to teach photography anymore. I need to
Oh,
cancel the vouchers.
yeah.
So then the credits that I've accrued go back. Now, if I've already used those credits, now I'm in a little bit of a pickle because I've created vouchers to get credit so that I could use the credits to get writing services for Better Worlds, and then I cancel my credit, or I cancel my voucher. Then all of a sudden we're in a pickle because how am I going to reconcile it? How are we going to reconcile that cancellation?
Yeah. Well,
Somebody takes
I guess there's not really a can't. I mean, ideally, as long as Basil's like, hey, I still want to be, involved. If you're a sort of want to stay an active member, I would say it's not even, you don't cancel the voucher. You say, oh, okay, I'm just gonna I'm going to put in
replace it.
vouchers for another service. You know what? I don't want
I,
to write it.
I'm
I'm going to,
replace it. So
yeah,
we have a,
you
yeah.
should
So
replace the voucher. Or you're going to say, oh, I already used my things. I'm throwing in $100.
yeah.
You
So so
want
so
to
so
stay at,
so so flow chart of user journey, and like where fraud comes in. Obviously fraud. If Basil like uses the credits to get the services and then like doesn't allow people to redeem the vouchers, doesn't provide the services, or just tries to cancel the vouchers, then there's a problem with that member. Then
yeah,
there's a problem with that member. But like if I get to the if I get to the process and I have a voucher, regardless of my credit standing or whatever, but I want to like cancel that voucher, I have options. I can like cancel it with cash input. I can cancel it with because it's canceling my time. So I can say, okay, I don't have any more time to provide this month, or for the near, or just like delay the push it forward and say like I'm off this month, so nobody can redeem this month. So I have like a way, or like you said, we can change the form. Like what would we call it? It'd be like transmute the voucher. So we change its form from lead to gold or whatever. Photography to editing or whatever. Okay, cool. So then we have our general members. They put in their vouchers. The vouchers get verified. They receive credit. So then we have a ledger of credits that have been issued. We have a ledger of vouchers that are on the books. So we have
hmm,
vouchers on the books and credits that have been issued with like the member accounts. And and this is why we need blockchain, so that people can't defraud the credit system. You know,
yeah. I mean, I think we need blockchain because it's going to make it easier to. It's just going to make it.
for this to like go to scale, we need blockchain. But
Well, no, I mean, there are big credit clearing, you know, how organizations now, that do this. It just has to be on a ledger. Somebody just has to be following it. I think what you're saying is like in the defrauding, yeah, is if somebody's defaulting, and there has to be, there has to be certain budget for that because that's going to happen. But that's also why part of this is based on people have to earn trust and reputation, right? So if Joe Blow comes in out of nowhere, we're like, hey, great, join up. You have a limit of 3 vouchers that you can put in. That's it, right? So then if Joe Blow uses 3 vouchers and then disappears, we say, all right, we have to eat that, but we're not eating like 100. You know?
right, so that's good for like that probationary period. So like the
Yeah.
the the, the,
But
the more
Basil's
you
been with
do,
us for
the more credit
2
you can
years.
receive over
Yeah.
time. Okay.
Right. So people get, people earn lines of credit essentially.
So the the so yeah, so they're receiving HSC voucher credits, and then they redeem those voucher credits for services that are available, if services are available. Um, but they're not able to redeem those credits for cash.
Uh, I would say they are when cash is available. So
So I would put a limit on like yeah, certain people, like somebody can't just come in and get some cash, because otherwise they will.
right. Yeah, I think we want people seeding the pool with cash, and then that way people can redeem,
When
can
you're in
get cash for their vouchers. But it's just as you said, like it has to be monitored, and
like
so the more.
when you have a certain trust standing, then you can like receive cash, because you're you know because the risk is mitigated.
Yeah.
But like for just like random people coming off the street that are like homeless needing cash, they're like, yeah, I'll do. I'll put in some vouchers and get some credits and then cash them out. There's definitely like a bottleneck there that
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there's a formula, there
fraud.
that's, and it's also based on, the amount of fiat money coming in.
And
So,
I would say
and this is
we would
also
have a
why it's this is
KYC
also
process. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's also why it's good, right? Like at a certain, like a certain point, we do want to encourage people, people who aren't necessarily members to just buy their services through vouchers. Or to
Okay, so
buy
let's talk
somebody a
about
gift
that.
card. Hey, I'm going to get you a gift card, right? An HSC voucher, which means somebody could then just come in and redeem it for any service that's there,
Okay, so let's talk about that.
right?
So
So
let's
then,
say
yeah,
we offer we do a campaign to like give your you know
it's Christmas
friends,
time,
families or whatever like HSC vouchers, gift cards. So then we sell a gift card. So somebody pays $25 or pays like $100 for a gift card that is equal to um, you know uh, you know up to like four vouchers or one level four voucher or something. So then they put in the $100. That $100 goes into the HSC treasury, from gift card purchase. So we sell vouchers, we sell vouchers or credits essentially. We sell credits for dollars. And then the dollars come into the pool to the treasury. And then the person redeems their vouchers for service, but that service provider, um, uh, they've already received the credits for that voucher that they put on the books.
right?
So then they may have already pre liquidated their credits at a rate.
Mm-hmm.
No, so there will be the transaction fee for the liquidation stuff. So it's not like one to one. But like, I have four credits that are valued at $100, and I want to liquidate, and I liquidate with like X% being held by HSC Treasury for the liquidation process and the admin of that, and then that the rest of that cash goes out. So we might say, and that can change over time, but like in the beginning, it could be like $85, or like one credit for $20 of liquidation. So essentially five, that's a high fee, but in the beginning, like we need like operational capital for like the low volume. We need to be able
Yeah,
to pay for like the operations people. We need
yeah,
cash because then that will then go into an operational capital pool. So then you'll have like a liquidity pool for
yeah,
voucher liquidity, and then you'll have a a budgetary pool for OpEx, an operational expense pool, you know, and but when people put money in, that just goes into the liquidity pool. But when somebody wants to liquidate their credits, then the transaction fee goes into the OpEx pool or into the for-profit pool that can be used for OpEx. Um, so that we're not muddying the waters or whatever, like we're not exhausting the liquidity pool to pay for OpEx per se. Um, uh, and then we're focused on getting like grants, donors, and ultimately like investors in HSC, because HSC has its human value inputs and cash value inputs into HSC itself. This platform is a product of HSC or something, and this platform is here, but then like HSC is potentially something that impact investors or investors can like invest in by buying HSC co-op tokens, and those the money that's generated from those co-op tokens for cash investors is used to pay for OpEx for the building of the platform and management and marketing and all of that stuff for OpEx. And then there's like people that are buying gift cards, and then maybe a percentage of that goes to the OpEx pool, but the rest is held in the liquidity pool, so we can provide liquidity for credit owners.
Hmm.
Um, so so then yeah, and then I would say that like one of the first, I mean, in the beginning it's fine, but at a certain point, like you can't liquidate credits until you're KYC'd, because there has to be anti-money laundering provisions in this. Otherwise, you're gonna get like hammered on by regulators. So you
Yeah,
can't be
yeah,
giving out money to like terrorists and shit, because that'll happen. People, fraudsters and terrorists and money launderers will do that. So that's cool. Okay, so then there's the so then there's the HSC operational system, which can pay people in HSC co-op tokens and in a payout token, but that payout token, isn't a real is only, people can only get cash out fiat from that payout token if there's money in the OPEX treasury.
right.
You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
and it's kind of first come first serve basis where it's managed.
Yeah,
So people are
yeah,
told like, hey, look, we need these services, but right now we only have X dollars. So you can hold these payout tokens that maybe in the future when we have more money you can exhaust, but right now we don't have enough capital to pay out cash. So you have the option to just hold those payout tokens at a certain percent.
mm,
But we're wanting people to like take co-op tokens as compensation. And then they have those co-op tokens, and then those are utility tokens that people can either hold on to, that can provide like future utility, or they can like, we can start to create like um, a way to burn those tokens for vouchers. So people can like spend like 25 co-op tokens for one voucher or whatever. I think if the co-op tokens are pegged to the dollar for now for easy math, we can change that over, the co-op can change that over time. But like initially, just for easy, if we're paying people in the operations of the co-op in normal Silicon Valley rates, but they're not actually getting that in cash, they're getting that in co-op tokens, little cash maybe. Um, just like Hypha does it. Uh, then the math works, because then like they're getting paid for like if their value is like $50 an hour and they're only getting $10 an hour in cash, then they're getting like $40 or 40 co-op tokens. Now there might be a multiplier for people because we want to incentivize in the beginning, so that maybe like you get 80 co-op tokens. So then that
yeah.
means I can always afford almost, for one for 1 hour of my high level time in operations, I can almost afford one level 4 voucher, which is 1 hour of
So what?
somebody else.
Okay. Yeah, I like this, but I still don't understand. So people can get paid with the co-op tokens, and what's the utility of those? They can redeem them for vouchers.
Initially, the only redemption value that we assign to them is they can redeem them for vouchers. Later, when like pending success of HSE, those co-op tokens can be redeemed for like a higher tier like equity token in HSC. That they become options.
Yeah,
At the beginning, we don't call them options or securities or anything like that. They're just like contribution tokens, co-op tokens that are issued for services in community building and operations for HSC.
but
Um,
I guess my question is still, how can people redeem the co-op tokens for
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 vouchers.
vouchers unless there's enough money, fiat money coming in to
No.
for those
Oh, okay.
vouchers?
So let's do that.
Which is
Let's do
again,
that round trip. So
like
so 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 so
I mean, as long as there's enough money coming in, that's fine. But that,
no, let's just focus on the reality here.
yeah,
So person A, they do services for
yeah.
HSC, core, um, and then they get 100 co-op tokens. and then they just hold those tokens. Those tokens have no inherent value. They're just a measurement of their contribution of what they received that wasn't cash,
Hmm.
you know. So then they have the co-op tokens, and they have 100, and they're like, okay, well, actually, I would like to get some mental health coaching or mental health services or something. Like I would like to get, access the healer network,
Hmm.
you know. So then they go onto the platform, and we have for people that are like core HSC token holders, because those tokens are movable because they're blockchain. You can transfer them. You can't sell them on an exchange. You could theoretically sell them in, direct, person to person, P2P. But the main thing is you have co-op tokens that you can like move via your wallet or via the Explorer. With your wallet, you can move to another account. So then what we would do is HSC would create a voucher exchange bank. So then somebody like sends 100 co-op tokens to that account, and we can see it on the chain. And then initially manually, it'll be manual in the beginning, so we're taking their tokens, putting it into the voucher account, and then they're receiving like 4 vouchers. Now, so then they're doing work for the organization. They're not getting paid cash. They are getting paid maybe a little, but they're getting paid mostly in co-op tokens. And then they decide, okay, I want to get some value out of these co-op tokens. And HSC says, okay, for this year, we're gonna like test this redemption thing where we redeem, your tokens at this valuation, for this year, for this month, and then they get their vouchers, via our manual process. So then they get their voucher, that or they get their credits. They get their credits. So essentially, like they trade their things for credits that then they can use to get service. So then they have the credits. So they have 4 credits, and they want to get access to this person for their level 4 time, for one level 4 voucher. So then they take those credits, and then they burn those credits to get access to that voucher. So then what happens is the credits disappear, the voucher disappears, and then but that person that put in the voucher, they've already received their credits. I don't think cash is required here.
Uh, all right. I'm trying to follow this. This is good. I'm trying to follow. Give me 1 second. I need to take a very quick bio break because
Yep, go for it.
do that really quick.
Practical for people. Okay. So we have the people that are like part of the core that are doing like services, starting with you and then other people, and then there's evaluation for these consultants and other things. And we're not paying these people, you or others, really anytime soon, like cash.
But how do they? So I'm
But,
just.
but, but, but we're giving them co-op tokens to measure their value input for the HSC co-op at a realistic value, not one token for 1 hour of work. That doesn't work. That means the token could be valued at $100 a token. No, we give them we do 1-to-1 US dollar. If they're valued $50 an hour, they're getting 50 co-op tokens or a multiplier of that, like 100 tokens. So because they're not getting paid money, they're putting in their time, so they're taking
Yeah,
personal risk.
that's fine. I get all that. I get all that.
Then so
What
then
I
so
don't.
then they have those co-op tokens. They accrue their wallet of tokens. And then HSC, okay, let's try this. Let's say for the next quarter or whatever, we're going to offer a redemption value for those utility token, those co-op tokens. And here's the valuation. Like 30 tokens gets you one $25 voucher. So the math, so the time value at work or whatever. So the person's like, great, I'm going to trade my 30 tokens for one voucher credit, sorry. So then like, so you can buy credits in the same way you can buy credits with cash for outside people or inside people, but you can buy credits for cash. You can also buy credits with your co-op tokens if you've accrued those by doing services. You were talking about this earlier, but we
Right.
just need to work like easy for people's minds, not one token per hour. That's not, it needs to be just like US dollar
Yeah,
based.
yeah. All
Um,
that is fine. All that's fine.
so then that way people are like, great, my value is like $200 an hour. So therefore, or I'm getting 200 tokens for my consultant time. And then I can like get something out of that eventually. And there's two, and in the short term, since there's no valuation on HSC, there's no dividends, there's no equity, there's no profits, I can at least utilize those credits, or I can utilize those tokens to get credits for services. So
Yeah.
maybe I have a business and I need some accounting support or something. And somebody on the HSC co-op platform is an accountant and they put in some vouchers. And then I have these credits that I got from trading my co-op tokens. Instead of buying them for cash, I'm buying them for co-op tokens. Those co-op tokens then go into the HSC bank and they're still held in the bank. They don't get burnt, but HSC is offering the credits to receive the services from vouchers that are on the platform. And so essentially it's like HSC is buying back the co-op tokens by giving like voucher credits. So your main question is are we creating a deficit here? Are we like losing money somehow? Are we like, is it not reconciling financially? Because so that's the big question that we have to work out here is if somebody does services for HSC operations and they don't get paid cash, they get paid co-op tokens, then are those co-op tokens, can those co-op tokens be used to get voucher credits instead of having to buy those voucher credits with cash, or by getting those voucher credits by putting in vouchers? So so essentially there's three ways here to get voucher credits: create a voucher, get credits; put in money to buy vouchers or buy credits, and that's a better rate. So if you're putting US dollar in, you're getting more credit per dollar. You know, we have like the baseline is like a voucher for credits. For level 4 voucher gets you 4 credits. But if you want to get 4 credits for cash, maybe that's like $90 or something. You're able to get more credit for less money because you're putting in fiat, or something of like liquid. But then maybe you're like an operations person and you're doing work for the platform that's tracked and verified, in a decentralized manner, and you're getting these co-op tokens for the organization, for the anchor circle or the core. Then the core can decide like, well, let's, for a limited time, let's allow people to use their co-op tokens to get voucher credits. But that'll be like at potentially a higher value. So it might be like 110 tokens to get 4 credits, if we're capping them at $25 a credit. So that way, that way, so then what happens when that transaction happens, like, so when people are trading their co-op tokens for credits, then then HSC is because the co-op tokens are generated by people putting in time, sweat equity. So these sweat equity tokens are generated. We're not starting with like a pool and then like giving them out.
Correct.
They're generated by, like, the more effort goes in, the bigger the volume of co-op tokens in existence. And so then what happens is like when person A here like trades their co-op tokens for HSC voucher credits, then those co-op tokens go into like another like HSC managed multi-sig bank account. It doesn't have to be multi-sig, but because these aren't value tokens yet. But an account that's set up, those tokens are going into the account, and then we're able to monitor like that. Those tokens are still available to use for like quests or something from HSC. So we can like issue like quest and give those out again for more services for HSC. So then we're recirculating those co-op tokens within HSC. But the question is that are we losing something on the platform economy? So when we do the math here, so like person A is helping to build a platform, they get the co-op tokens, they then trade the co-op tokens for credit vouchers, then they have credits, they then burn those credits when they to use somebody's voucher. Or if there's liquidity pool, then they can take those credits and get cash. So then like their co-op tokens can ultimately trade into cash from the platform if for and this is just for like the core people that are working. This isn't for like everybody in the world, because there's much smaller pool of people that are doing work on the platform or that doing work for HSC. So we need to provide value benefits for those people, especially, that makes sense. But maybe they can't get cash, but at least they can get credit. So then person does work for HSC, they get co-op tokens, they trade the co-op tokens for credits, they use credits to get Basil services because Basil put in vouchers. So then what happens is that the voucher is exhausted and that person's credits are exhausted. No cash needed. So we're getting people to work for free for HSC, and then we're providing a mechanism for them to like get access to like the services on the platform. Um, uh, you know, in
Yeah.
exchange for getting paid for like work. So essentially,
Yeah. It's
it's a
a
two steps process, and it can change over time. The valuation of co-op tokens versus voucher credits can change over time based upon what we deem from the co-op is good economically. But it's like we keep the economies separate, but we have a bridge. The co-op token is the bridge,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
then in the hypha ecosystem you have other entities like like say D Studio, and then and then and then and we could create like a trade relation. We can start creating a trade relationship somehow in the future. But in the beginning, we just to keep it simple, there's HSC operations, and then we issue co-op tokens. Um, we already have the system for that. Like that's working fine. Um, uh, and we don't need to do the trade anytime soon. I'm just saying, like some point in the future, we would be able to accrue co-op tokens by doing services to then be able to get to trade those co-op tokens uh, for voucher credits. Um, and maybe those voucher credits are non-liquefiable or something. I don't, like, uh, that's just parsing the details. I don't think we'd even need to go there.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I have to see how the numbers crunch and add up.
Yeah, because what you'd end up with
I
is
don't.
like
Yeah, I don't totally. I mean, I get the different pieces. Um,
you need a pro forma. This is like a
I just need to
vertical. You need
I
a
just need to
horizontal.
like simulate it out. It has to be so that
Yeah,
way.
yeah, I can help with that at some point. Uh, but okay, but anyway, that's operations.
Because
Um,
because like I think that you're bringing in a couple of new aspects, right? Which is the, is like the co-op token is something that is actually put into circulation. It's earned and then it's put into circulation,
it's a
and right, and
utility token. Yeah,
it's a
it provides
utility
utility.
token. You're saying, it's rather than just a redemption token, it's like a utility token that you can use for, for a voucher. So, in the same way, right? Here is what I'm saying. You bring in that aspect, so that's interesting. But still in this model, where I'm saying like you can redeem, your co-op token for vouchers. Um, I just need to see how it works with the, in this new aspect, as far as, um, there being enough money, right? Like the idea still is that this voucher pool, it is a pool that's, it it has a certain, like, is based on a certain value. So we can't just, like, again, like, we can't just print vouchers. We can't just say, hey, we're going to just make new vouchers that aren't based on any, on any, like, actual value. Because when you put in a baseline value, that's, you say that's, you're like, that's $25 worth of services.
But
So,
that's not but HSC is not creating vouchers. The members are creating vouchers. The HSC is not creating vouchers.
but you're saying no, but it's the same thing. But you're saying, but if you call it a credit or a voucher, we're talking about the same thing.
So okay, so yeah, so let's talk about just the basic platform operations. So user creates voucher, they receive credit, and then those credits can be used to access other vouchers. Um, uh, so person A creates a voucher, and then credits are generated from the time going into the pool. So we're like, credits are generated,
So let
and
me
then
let
they
me so
receive
let me
the
just
credit.
play it out, like, very simply, just to make sure that what I'm saying is true, right? So if we say, if if we say, like, all right, let's just first go with vouchers, right? So we have, forget about this. So okay, so we have, whatever, four vouchers in the pool, baseline vouchers, right? So that's $100. So if somebody then, right, so these can get kind of like traded around. But if somebody then trades in, redeems a voucher from tokens, right, then that voucher then gets taken out of the pool and they use it. But because it was tokens, there's no other extra vouchers going back into the pool. So I
So you're getting a deficit. So you are getting a
so
deficit.
you're getting a deficit, at least from what I'm seeing, right? So then, so what I yeah, so I think what happens is that, right, every voucher that's redeemed from tokens, right, is a deficit in the pool. So then it has to be put back with something else, or else at a certain point there's no more
You don't have a
vouchers in the
voucher.
pool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So if somebody seeds it with, I'm going to make this green, then that's money. So if somebody seeds it, sort of, we say, oh, okay, these four are taken out from vouchers, but somebody seeds it with $100, then that goes to, and it creates four more vouchers or credits. So I think that's really uh,
Wait, let's
where the
slow down
numbers have
here.
to add up.
Let's slow down here. Let's start with just like forget about the tokens. Person comes in, they create a voucher. When they commit a voucher and it's verified, then they receive credits. So then we have a ledger of voucher on ledger and credits on ledger from person X.
Mhm.
So then we have another person that puts in vouchers, so we have more vouchers, and then that person receives credit. So we have a ledger of vouchers on the books and credits on the books, and those should reconcile. That
Right.
should equal zero.
Yeah.
So so then that equals zero, and then person with credit gets other person's voucher, and then they burn both. So then it stays at zero. So the credits are burned, the voucher's burned.
Right. So,
Um,
so person A, yeah, exactly. So person A redeems person C's voucher.
and
Um,
person A's credits are burned, and person C's voucher is burned.
yeah.
Person C still has their credits though, and
Well,
they use.
well, person A, right? They have person. So person A's. I guess. I mean, the way we're talking about it, we should probably, it might be easier to say person A credit. It might be, and uh, copy. No. How do you? Whatever. I'll just.
Select all copy or option drag. But so person A, so person A credit, person A voucher. Person C credit, person C voucher.
Yeah. So person. Yeah.
And then we can have like throw in the B there.
Yeah. So person C. Right. So voucher. Okay. Yeah. This is good. You got it. Voucher person. Um, C
Person
credit. And we've got person B credit, person B
voucher.
voucher,
Okay.
and then D credit.
I would just and I would just organize them in a line um like that, and then person C credit, person C voucher,
Yeah.
person D credit, person D. Oh, you already did it. Anyway, like that. So then what happens is we have these on the books, and these are all reconcile.
Yeah, these are reconciled because basically what we have is, so I'm just going to try a different way. We have person, we have the vouchers in the pool, right? And then we have the people with the credits. So this is all, right? So this is
Okay.
all reconciled. This is the pool, the voucher pool, but then we have these people with the credits. So that's all reconciled, right?
So that works. So person A can access the voucher. Oops. Person A can access person B's voucher
That's
with
right.
the credit. And then what happens is both of these get taken off the table. They get burned.
Yeah.
The credits disappear, the voucher disappears. So then this person's account goes to zero, and this voucher's gone. But person A's voucher is still on the table. And then person D grabs that voucher, and then they burn. And so then it zeroes out. Each transaction zeroes out. So that works. So this voucher pool and then the credit lines like match, and then it stays at zero as they go through the system. And then but then what I was talking about was like so then let's say there's a person B. Let's take this off. So let's say there's a person B that they buy credits for $100. So then there's $100 in the pool.
Right.
As part of the treasury. So there's like cash and vouchers in the pool. And then person D has credits because they put in a voucher. But they actually want to they want to trade their credits for some need now cash.
Right.
So then they burn their credits for the cash minus the transaction fees or whatever. And so then that comes off the table. But person D's voucher is still there. Person A's voucher is still there. Person D's voucher is there. Person B bought credit. So then they use that credit to get person D's voucher or whatever. So So then the $100 it's exhausted for the credits. So then when that happens, um, then the $100 comes off the books, and the credit comes off the books. So that zeroes out each other minus the transaction fees. And so then I think we're still at zero.
Yeah,
The,
yeah, and I think that when we're just dealing with vouchers, and then we're just dealing with money too, as you're saying, I think it's pretty simple. But
yeah, it's just yeah,
I think that the challenge, right? Then the challenge comes in when we say now we want people's contributions to be able to be redeemed with vouchers, because
yeah.
that because that's the third piece, right? It's like, okay,
that was the third piece.
Bill
So
did
it's like
10 hours of work this
then we
month,
have
right? So he's earned
uh
however many
co-op. So then
co-op
we have
tokens.
like 25 co-op tokens. So then if person B were to get credit for putting in the co-op tokens, then they get credit by putting the tokens. There's like $100 in from person D or whatever, and then we just have these vouchers. Then we have a treasury, an HSC treasury of dollars, and then we have other forms. And initially, we test just the co-op tokens, and so then we put in the co-op tokens for person B to get credit. So then if they access person C's voucher and takes those off the table, then their credits disappear, their vouchers disappear, and then what we end up with is a surplus of co-op tokens. So then the question is yeah. So if those co-op tokens don't have any other value, then yeah, you're right. Then we end up with something that doesn't work out, because we would end up with just an accruing pool of co-op tokens from the operational team and a decreasing vouchers and or dollars. So yeah, so there's a problem. So yeah, I think you're right that until we can figure out uh, uh, a reason why members of the HSC co-op would want to just like trade their voucher credits for co-op tokens, these co-op tokens are not going to be valid yet. It's not going to be able to reconcile, because until person C is willing to like, put in their
What?
voucher and then trade their credits for co-op tokens.
Yeah.
But until that's possible, this model
Hmm.
that I suggested won't work, because we'll end up with a deficit. You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
the co-op tokens are off the table for the foreseeable future until
Yeah. It's
until there's
interesting. It's
until
interesting.
there's a reason,
It
until
could
there's like
work.
some valuation put on these utility tokens.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're bringing in another kind of model or addition to the model, which I like and which could work. It's just that the co-op token, right? In the way that you're suggesting it, as like this co-op token has is a token that's put into circulation, and then used or burned. It might just the value of that in circulation might be really low at first, because no matter what, even if you take the co-op token out of the equation, I mean, as far as like, as something that's in
Yeah.
circulation, um, the only way, that people can, that it'll work for people to be able to redeem their co-op tokens for vouchers is when surplus money comes into the pool. And so,
Yeah.
so that's really the whole idea of what I was,
Oh
um,
shit. So go
of what
back
I
to.
was bringing in here.
Oh,
Is
okay.
Yeah, that's the whole idea of what I'm bringing in here, which is the fiat money, right? So money coming from anywhere, from membership fees, from donations, right? We get funding that goes into the pool. Then all that money right, can then be used to seed the pool, right? So like here in this, again, this is like an example, but $293 is then worth 12 vouchers or 27 baseline vouchers. So that's new value that's being put into the pool, right? It's just like it's money that's being put into the community pool, and then that money can then be redeemed. That that essentially that money turns into voucher credits, and then those voucher credits can be redeemed by co-op tokens or community tokens. So what you're, I think what you're adding in is to say, oh, okay, well then, essentially what I've been saying, in this model, it's essentially like a co-op token's created, and then as soon as it's redeemed, it's burned, which I
Yeah.
think is a good way to
Co-op
look at
token is created and it was, yeah, so that would be if it's burned, but if it stays in its form, it's created, um, but the only way that would ever be burned, I don't think it would ever be burned. When it's created, then it, as a co-op token, then even if it's like bought back by HSC Core or by HSC for like another token or cash, then HSC would just like be adding those co-op tokens back into its personal bank. So you know where this would work well, so that the co-op tokens would be something that people would trade their credits for, is if the co-op token really is like a utility slash option token for like for the ecosystem, for like the Hive ecosystem or something.
Yeah.
So that we could so that then like the co-op token has its own tokenomics, wherein it has trade relationships with like Haifa or D Studio or whatever, right? So then like people can either like trade their co-op tokens for other ecosystem tokens that have the trade agreements, um, or their co-op tokens can be can be can yield like airdrops, can yield like equity, can yield equity. So like the more co-op tokens you have of HSC, the more your ownership is, the more you
Hmm.
own of HSC. So that like then it represents like a form of kind of a stock of HSC, you know, so that people can like, can like bank in HSC. So then it still operates, like, as a crypto, uh, but just as like a, a but more like an equity token, a convertible token, So like people can like accrue co-op tokens by doing works for HSC, and then those co-op tokens can possibly, those co-op tokens can become like, can be traded for co-op, HSC ownership tokens or equity tokens. So people can become like, slicing pie, like, you know, shareholders of HSC by doing work for HSC. So that's like you can trade your sweat equity for HSC to gain ownership.
Yeah, but it still comes down to what you can do with those co-op tokens.
Well, yeah, because if HSC doesn't have a profit sharing model for sharing profits, then but that can be like down the road. That can be 5 years down the road.
Right.
If
But
it's in the planning,
yeah,
for the startup. So like we started up, we need the work. We don't have cash to pay for the work, but we can give you tokens. And
yeah,
we give you tokens for the project of HSC. And then as we go over time, we might find like novel ways for you to use those tokens as a utility to get like credits or something, or like limited credits. we can put limits on it. Um, but we just definitely need to reconcile the if we put those tokens into the pool, like if person A or
Yeah. So it's
put their
so
co-op tokens into the pool,
I
then that adds co-op tokens into the pool, and then that would only work as if person B would exhaust their credits, essentially trade their credits for the co-op tokens, so that we stay at zero for the pool. So we're reconciled.
mm,
Otherwise, we, like you said, we would just have like co-op tokens sitting there on the line on the ledger, you
hmm
know,
yeah.
which yeah.
Well,
So
yeah.
so it
So
could work.
I think it's in, yeah, I think it's good to bring this in because we're, essentially we're saying from the beginning, like we don't know exactly how it's going to work with the co-op as a utility token, and it's probably too much to try and figure that all out now, anyways. Uh,
Yeah, like right now it
but
has nothing, but like in the
but
future it could.
there is an accounting that can happen, that I hadn't been thinking about, right? Which is just keeping all the co-op tokens in circulation on the books rather than just saying, just because essentially they're right. A person doesn't have to. This is like sort of like it's not a right word, but like the worst case scenario or the maximum, right? Like in order for there to be balance, right? This um, if everybody who earns their co-op tokens or community tokens, com tokens, as I'm calling them, if everybody who earns those redeems them every month, then this is the number of like vouchers that have to be that have to be seeded in order to not go into a deficit. But um, it's not. But that's probably not going to happen, right? Probably people are going to accrue, and this is a good thing for me to remember, people are going to accrue their co-op tokens and com tokens um, on their account, right? And then they might at some point, um, you know, trade them in for vouchers, but they're not going to do it, all at the same time, and they might just want to keep them. So I think these are interesting things to look at.
So let's talk about the seeding part of it real quick. So you're saying that if somebody if we receive so do you consider buying credit seeding or only just like donor money going in seeding?
The seeding is basically what we do with fiat money. So seeding
If
is
somebody buys a gift
is
card,
the
is
seeding
that
of the
seeding?
pool itself. So it's putting the value into the pool, right? So basically, we have fiat money coming in from wherever, and we say, okay, well, what do we want to do with that? Okay, well, part of what we want to do is we want to seed the pool with that, and then people can redeem vouchers. Part of it we want to just spend on OpEx, right? Part of
Yeah.
it we may want to take some of that money and just give it to the community, or give it to whatever, a charity or something. So it's seeding is just like
Grant. That would be grants.
seeding. No,
Um,
seeding is is basically adding value to the pool. So
okay,
when
so you're
we
creating
seed
a
into the
liquid
pool
pool.
either with a voucher or with fiat money. Those are the two ways you can seed into the pool, at least now.
So I would say like
Resource pool.
in the beginning, like when 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 somebody buys credits to receive services to be able to exhaust through voucher, exhaust other vouchers, when they're buying their credits or their arcade tokens, essentially, and then they want to play the games, um, then they put in $100. That $100 for the 4 credits, um, uh, maybe like so then I think where you need to do is like over time you need to adjust the numbers, but like part of that should be going to HSC for OpEx. Part of that should be going to a liquidity pool and then part of that, yeah, at least those two pools, OPEX pool, liquidity pool from the money coming in. And then we end up with like a liquidity pool, the seed pool, so in that then we have liquid value in the pool plus all of the time value. Um, and then and then and then we have members that have put in vouchers and receive credits, 1-to-1 for their vouchers. Um, then if they are of a certain tier of member, then they're eligible to trade their credits, to cash out their credits, to burn their credits for cash.
Say that again. Say that last sentence one more time.
So we have the membership, and then we have members that have credits because they put in vouchers.
Right.
And then we have a liquidity pool that's come from cash that's generated through grants, donations, and like people buying credits.
Yeah.
We have that liquidity pool, minus the OPEX. We have that liquidity pool that's left over from the OPEX.
Mm-hmm.
And then and we can set like a limit of like a certain amount goes to the liquidity pool and a certain amount goes to OPEX, percentage wise or something. And then we have like the members that have the credits because they put in vouchers. They haven't put in any money, but they put their time on the table in the ledger. And then they have these credits that they can use to either get other vouchers, to like exhaust other vouchers, or they can or they can cash out their credits, their voucher credits for cash.
Yeah.
If cash is available, and we have to work out the limitations on all of that. But that's effectively how we can zero credits with cash, or we zero credits with vouchers.
Yeah.
And in the future, we can zero credits for co-op tokens. But that's future concept. But for now, just like people put in their time bank essentially in the time voucher, and then they receive credits. Other people put in cash, they get credits, and then other people exhaust their credits for vouchers or for cash pending.
Yeah.
So then we have those paths, and we just have to do the threshold settings, because it's like if somebody puts in a voucher for 4 credits and then they cash out those 4 credits, then I don't think, initially at least, those 4 credits should equal $100. I think their cash out value is going to be less.
Yeah.
Like even 50%.
Yeah. Or you can just, exactly. Or you can just say, you can do just as you said, or you can just say, hey, you can cash out 1 in 4 vouchers, for 1 in 4 baseline vouchers for its credit. So if you put in 4 baseline vouchers, you can take $25 for the cash, which is essentially saying the same thing as you. It's just, another way of formatting it.
Putting limits, putting limits.
Yeah, just putting limits on what people can cash out.
So we have the limits of the number of vouchers you can put in initially, and over time.
Yeah.
So maybe if like threshold 1 for our trial is like, okay, people, let's put in your vouchers, but you can only put in maximum
something,
maximum 16 level 1 vouchers or 4 level 4 vouchers or something. So or whatever, we set a limit of like the number of vouchers you can put in, the number of credit, essentially the number of credits you can receive. So if I come and I put in 16 level 1 and I receive 16 credits, and each of those credits is effectively worth $25, and I hold those in my wallet, on my line, then I trade those credits for other people's services. And so I say, okay, I want Rob to help me with this. He has a voucher for this amount. So then I I agreed to trade my credits for his voucher, that transaction, and then both get burned at the completion. So we definitely need that phase one process for burning credits and vouchers. That's doesn't require a lot of admin.
Yeah. Yeah, and we assume, we assume at first that there's going to be less fiat money coming in. I mean, you know, maybe
Yeah.
people, sort of donate at first, but we assume there's going to be less fiat money coming in and just more straight vouchers coming in.
Yeah, we definitely don't like offer cash liquidity for credits anytime soon, I
Yeah,
would say.
and it's really,
It's off the
I
table.
think it's based on, it's based on the money that's coming in. But the idea is that the money that's coming in it's all part of the pool, right? So that money is not going out anywhere to other, it's just going to the pool itself and to people who run the pool, and to,
Copy. So that's right. So we have a cooperative that brings in money through membership dues, so from members and from donors and grants and from buyers.
yeah,
That money goes into the pool, um, and then it's managed by the co-op, and then we set those city. Okay, all right. This is good. So the next steps.
and just to name, the interesting thing I think to me as we go along, the interesting thing, or one of the interesting things, is this value indexing, right?
Okay.
Because I think if we're talking about, and of course this is my passion, but if we're talking about like economic systems change, and creating a different model, then that's a place where we can really do some good work. Because right now, and I think it's good, to keep sort of like a start with a simple value indexing model of like an hour, as a unit of measurement, 25, 50. But I think what is interesting is to create more, sort of subtle value indexing based on like community value, like basically start to take away hours and start to take away like specific dollar amounts and start to really like value index based on what people value. So it's like, hey, I'm gonna, like, I just spent, an hour of time with Basil, just like, supporting him and talking with him. What do we think the value is of that? What is the value of like, a certain, I don't know, it's a little easier with, to think about it with actual, goods and services. But I don't know if I'm making sense. So like somebody, like somebody's going to sit down and edit, and they're at this kind of expertise level. How do we value that against, somebody doing your accounting and somebody, just hanging out with you and
You're gonna get there like faster if you just go through different things in Fiverr, and you just say, okay, what's the kind of service? Okay, let's do build a website. And if you look through all of the different value index, valuations of like website building, it's not based upon hours, it's based upon job. So you can look at the numbers that they're putting value on it, $1,500 for this number of pages or whatever,
right,
you
right,
know,
right.
at this
And
expertise level. And they have, if you study Fiverr or or Upwork, but if you study Fiverr, then you have the different levels of people, and then you have the project costs,
right,
services of people,
yeah,
and then that can be like we can track that, as far as like our projections or our analysis, you
yeah.
know
And I think what's interesting, right? Because yeah, thank you. You're speaking to it. What's interesting is that it's based on, right. We haven't even got into this, but like, um, is that it's this valuation can be based on the community itself. right? And so this is a final piece, which is how does the model scale, right? So there's a way where, you know, Fiverr and Upwork, we know how that scales. It's just one big centralized,
Yeah.
entity. Um, what I think is interesting, and since this is so much so based on trust and relationships, is there a way, right? And uh, you know this, right? And this is like you knew this way before me as far as DAOs and but like there's a way where I my thought is that each of these voucher pools, each of these pools like reaches a certain size, and then and then splits off, right? And so you
Fractal.
have
A
a
fractal model.
network of these voucher pools, um, so that way it maintains the ability for people to know and trust each other and learn about each other and get to know each other. But the key being that then value can be then exchanged between the different pools.
Okay. So
So that's an idea rather than just having it be one sort of like giant, central entity, to sort of have
okay,
it be
okay. So let's here's the
a
word for it.
network of commitment pool, a network of these collaboratives, collectives.
Glocal. It's so look at it as a glocal cooperative model. So we're creating a network of co-op. Um, you know, some are fully virtual, some are like local. Um, but what we're doing is creating the ledger system for people to put in value offers, receive credits from their co-op. Um, Credits are generated, and then they, because that way I don't I don't I mean it I don't I mean, so there's the place for like that sort of local or that small team co-op, you know, fractal model, but I'm trying to see like when that would be valuable to go there, and actually why.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, so let's look at what is the difference between this and Fiverr. So the profile is the same, the service offerings are the same, but the way that people access those service offerings um, has at least two paths. One is for them to like bank their services, and then HSC is acting as a bank actually because it's giving credit.
Um, I would say, yeah, it's like a facilitator, it's not the bank because it's not really holding, maybe, it's holding the value, I guess, but it's facilitating it.
It's
Is it a
it's,
bank? Is it I don't know. They're
it's still
sort of
a
learning, they're calling
processor.
it like a credit clearing
It's still, yeah,
mechanism.
it's still that. And so there's definitely like heavy like FTC, SEC kind of ramifications there. Um,
But we're not, but HSC is not loaning money to anybody. It's basically just like people are trading with each other, and there's a whole, I mean, I just found this out. There's a whole industry of this. It's called the barter trade exchange industry. And it's a whole thing, right? And people, and like big, like big businesses and corporations are trading in mutual credit with each other. And so then there's these, the facilitators of that. Um,
so
and
let's talk about the
and the
facilitation of
reason that
that.
it's legal, and the reason that there's no issues, is because it's all on the books, right? So they're they're trading with each other, it still counts towards their taxes. So the government's okay with it.
Yeah.
But
So
I don't
that's
they're
the
but
issue.
these aren't they're not considered banks
Um,
because they're not holding money for anybody that they're responsible for. They're just facilitating trades back and forth.
yeah, and taking transaction fees as a business model
Yeah,
and,
so
and
yeah, like a
reporting that.
platform.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the expenses off of that. So, okay. So, so then, so then,
Yeah, but it's a good question of how it scales. I don't have the answer, and it's, I think when I'm looking at like what Will did and is doing, with communities like in Africa and Kenya, there it's sort of it becomes kind of natural or obvious, right? Like there's just different localities, right? And so then the different localities are their localities. They're the individual co-ops, and then the cities or the towns then exchange within each other. So in a virtual sense, is that the model that is going to work best in a virtual sense, or is it going to just work best to just have it be one kind of conglomerated aspect? I don't know. I don't think that's something we have to know now, anyways. But it's an interesting.
let's just talk about the core functions here. No, yeah.
Yeah, and I know I
Voucher,
gotta go soon.
voucher. So if you're saying that the tool platform that we're building is for people to access each other's services by creating services themselves. And so they put in their voucher, then the platform uh, generates those like token credits. Those token credits are only for the platform, sort of like for accounting purposes on the platform. So voucher gets created for future time, and so that goes onto the books. So then the co-op, so then we would need to like register as I think as a cooperative, and then people put in their time on the books, and then credits are issued to those people to for the so that's their compensation, because it's not really a compensation, it's just they then can, yeah, so it is like a tricky thing here, how to make this work like legally. It's possible. I'm just trying to like,
Yeah,
and what it is exactly, because it's like the people aren't creating the credits, the P2P people aren't creating the credits, the P2P people are creating the vouchers. They're issued, they're creating the voucher, they're agreeing to a smart contract that says that they will provide this service at this valuation. Um, and then instead of them having to do like a one-to-one barter transaction between person A and person B, it allows person A to put in the voucher, person B to put in the voucher, but person A doesn't need to access or trade with person B's voucher. They can just do the service for person B, but they can access somebody else's service over here. So that's the key feature here, is that it allows people to like barter their time for other services, potentially products down the road, but definitely other services. And then we're putting our time value into a pool, and then other people are putting their time value into the pool, and there's other things in the pool, cash, products, whatever, you know, and then we're just reconciling the person's time value with what they take out of the pool. So then it's like you say, it's a credit swap, credit clearing.
yeah,
Yeah, we just need to look at like some similar cases, and then otherwise I think it's fine. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Like
there's definitely it's definitely being done in that kind of right, with businesses, and then out of like Will is has been doing it, so he probably has some ideas on the legal stuff. I mean, right now, you know, right, for me, that's like the last thing on my list that I'm concerning myself about at this point, is the legal aspect, because it's like, let's just see if it, can get actually up and running.
prove the case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
So
And
we're
then,
just in like a hackathon mode, yeah, just in an MVP prototyping mode.
yeah.
Um,
So,
so
all
yeah,
right.
because like
So yeah, so that's a lot of good workshopping, and I'm glad that like, sounds like we're seeing more of the different places, um that are going to require attention. I think that for going forward now, I think if we want to come back to what we were talking about more towards the beginning of our conversation,
is creating the pool,
well, is
basically.
yeah, yeah, these action steps is basically like the finding the people, right? Because we're talking about creating the model and the framework, and then the tools, which is good. But then, so coming back to like what you're talking about is, what are the action steps, and is there anything that you can take, or you and D Studio can take from your end to start bringing in people and bringing in those, like, what are their use cases, and on starting the onboarding essentially.
Yeah, I would say if we just something that's easy to bite off, and we're like, okay, let's create a pool with like start with like 10 people putting vouchers in, and then we start a ledger of like the voucher types, and then we issue like credits on a line sheet for those people, and then and then we start with like creating that pool, and then we start to do work. We start to like utilize the vouchers. So
But I
so so
think I think there's a step. I mean, I think that there's a step before that. I think the step before that is bringing people. Is the onboarding step. You're talking about using
we're
vouchers.
going to
What I'm
lose the
saying is
people
like,
if
what
we're not
feels.
action. We're going to lose the people if we don't immediately have things they can do. So we need to first like take the closest 10 people that we have in our network that have things that they can provide into the pool of value. And then we start that off, and then we start bringing in people to add in and stuff. But we have to
Yeah, but
start
what
with
I'm saying is bring
our
in
seed.
those 10 people. I'm saying bring in those 10 people, and chart their use cases, chart their journeys. What
Yeah,
I
that's what.
want to know, before they make a ledger and try and get their services, what I want to know is, why are they here? What do they want out of this? What is their user journey, like you talked about? You know,
We
because
have
part
to
of
just
it is not
we have to
everybody.
just do a
Look,
user map because they do not know. They
right,
do not know until
but,
it's like they
but,
don't
but
know
they
what they want out of the phone until Apple made the phone. But before Apple made the phone, their smart strategists sat around and they did user journeys for people to like create this. So like the people do not know what they want until they see it. So for us to create something for them to see and say, yeah, I enjoy that, or no, I don't enjoy that. You, me, and like the close team can like just map out the user journeys for the different types of cases and people, and then we can just like say,
there's a
okay,
lot, right?
let's manifest that.
There's a lot here. It's not just the vouchers. Some people are gonna, like, we don't know. Like we're saying, like, what we're saying here is, we know that there is like a tremendous pool of value that's going to be, that people are going to want, but we don't actually know. People might come in. Some people might be like, oh, I don't care about like services or exchanging. I just want like support from people. I just want to like stop feeling isolated. Right? That's a different kind of value. So that's it, and there's a different user journey. So I think we're going to get all kinds, but I think that, I mean, what we're talking about here is we're creating the thing, right? We're creating the iPhone that we think that people want. But I think that there is this complementary aspect that we're ready for now, which is start asking people, saying like, hey, what, like, within this framework, like, what are you looking for? What do you want? How would you use this? can you make your member profile? Because it's not just about the vouchers, it's about, again, like meeting needs.
We like people are slow. They're not visionaries. Most people. So we just have to create that user onboarding system version one MVP that you've already done once. We just need to like make that easier for people. Through form entry, through Airtable, an Airtable entry form,
But
and
what
we're
is the
collecting.
I get it. I get it. And you know what? And right, in this
We
sort
don't
of
want them to
in
think. We
this
want them to just
decentralized kind of
experience it.
way, there's something that you're right. Like, I don't want to step on what you're pointing to. So I guess my question is, like, from an action step standpoint, like, maybe that is what you want to do. Maybe that's, you know, I don't want to devalue that. So in other words, maybe Basil, what your action step is now is actually just gathering the people and making the spreadsheet and start and see if we can start exchanging vouchers. So I don't want to tell you, like, hey, you have to do this, you have to do that. What I'm saying is, like, I think we have the framework, but what's your action going to be if you want to, sort of take some action on it now? And how
Yeah.
does that
So
work
I have
with the other
my agenda, which is to get things done, to make shit in the world through people doing things together through collaboration. This thing that we're building with HSC is a mechanism to get shit done.
I yes, yes,
So
yes,
so so
yes.
so then when we have the end result, which is a mechanism to get shit done, what does that mechanism need for us to start getting shit done? We need the onboarding portal.
Well, I
That's
know. Yeah, I mean, I'm working on that. I
that
think
that
what
that that's that MVP can be done in a day. It's called a Google form. That's it. Or an Airtable form. That is all we need to bring people into the database. So we need to bring people into the database with what they can offer. We don't need to ask them necessarily what they need, but if they know what they need, they can put that in. But they can leave that blank. But they can
so.
definitely put what they can offer. And
Okay.
you've already done this once with like Airtable or something already.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we have it in Notion.
and no, fuck Notion.
No,
Forget
no, I'm
about
just saying.
Notion
Well, I'm saying we have the information there. I
because Notion requires people to think too much. We need a simple user experience for people to be like, my name, what, and then we have questions, and
So
they
I
fill
think
in
what
the
I'm saying is, I'm saying, like, I know what I'm doing, right? I told you what I'm doing, right? I'm sort of like, and this is what we were working on today, creating this framework. What is the framework? And then what are the tools we're using? And then build out that member portal, right?
copy. And that's step one. And
So
then when we
that
have
is,
those
yeah,
members,
right. And that's different than just starting with the Google form, saying
so
build
that,
out the member portal. We're not going crazy with it, but that's going to have good functionality. So then what, you know,
we don't even need that. We just need the
but do
form
you want
entry
to
so
be
we have the
working on
database.
bringing people now? Do you want to say, hey, I'm going to take a Google form and I'm going to take a spreadsheet and I'm going to start walking people through and start facilitating, vouchers? Because that's fine.
I would say it should be an Airtable pool or whatever. Somebody, not me, needs to create the form for people to put their name in and put what they can offer in, and then that database is manifest. Then we have the database. Now we need the more critical is the voucher creation process. So then we need to say, okay, what can you put on the table for time? That's where the action starts. That's the number one MVP is to be able to like create the voucher and the credit and trade those and reconcile those. So it's
Yeah.
a simple, that's a simple sheet of like, we have on the books, we have 10 people that have put in vouchers. And
Right.
then we have
You
next
don't
to it,
even
we
need
have
an
the credits
Airtable
that have
for
been
that.
issued and nothing's been done yet. We've just like put our time, future time on the table and credits have been issued. And that's where we start. Then we start to like, okay, writer, I have an assignment, um, for I would like to I would like to trade my credits. I would like to exhaust my credits to access you writer to write a blog. And then we start the flow. Um, so we're really, really, really close. We're really close. We just need like real tangible like impact that we can point to and say, look, we got all of these blog posts done through this service without having to spend cash because we're able to trade people's time for them to then access other people's time. And but look what happened. So we're creating a cashless system that actually works. It's barter effectively, but it's like it's a barter trade system.
Yeah.
We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just making it work better. That's all. We're just making it work better. We're so close, and
Yeah.
and we don't need to get lost in like the UX UI, well the UI of it. We don't need to get lost in the UI of it. We can just use a simple Airtable form to build our database. So we have to start by like setting up the fields that we need, and that's something that like I can like I've already prepaid for Pavel. So if you want him to like build a great Airtable that later we can build a custom database system from, then you can like we can assign him to do that. You supervise it, but he's gonna have like some next level shit in there
Yeah.
for us to like build our database, and then the core sort of functionality that we haven't solved yet is what is the sort of easy process for the credit voucher burn, like what that's all. But we need like we need to like serve that function. Ideally that wouldn't be like a manual function where you, Rob, or somebody else needs to like, did he do the work, did you do the work, and then they're like moving stuff around. That's where human error comes in. We need like a simple, we don't need a Fiverr kind of system, but it's something where like person A can say, I've completed the task. Person B verifies that they completed the task, and then the credits disappear and the voucher disappears. And it doesn't need to be Web3 yet,
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I think that in this case, as far as the timeline, you and I are close, but we're a little. I just think that the place where we have a little bit of differing opinions is when to start bringing people in, and like when to start bringing people in and start the exchange. Now, I think you're saying just do that right away and then build out the tool. I'm not even in disagreement with that, but for me, I'm not going to spend. For me, I personally don't feel comfortable start like saying, "Hey, come on, let's do this" to anybody but just like our core people here.
That's all we're going to do it with in the
Yeah,
beginning.
the
We
core
just
people.
need
But
to
other
test.
than that, I'm not going to try and like sell this to anybody until I have something where there's a nice where there's an onboarding process where we can say what like where we can guide people through it,
Yeah,
and
yeah, no, we're
get
yeah.
feedback mechanisms, so
This year, I'm not worried about opening it up to like a bunch of people. Where are we at? We're heading into September now. So we just have like a quarter left of this year. And December is like off the
I know,
table for
and I
people.
think that that's what I'm saying is that I want to spend the rest of this year, building out this, building out the mechanism.
And
I don't
and
want to
and, and I
spend.
and I say
I,
yes, and I say that the performance, the robustness, the look and feel of that mechanism, it just needs the core function. It can be quite ugly in the next 2 months, but we just need to prove that the function works, which is the voucher credit reconciliation thing.
Yeah. So we're talking about, all right, well, look, we're talking about if we have our circles, right? We have the HSC circles. So, we have the value exchange circle, which is essentially like doing this, like building out the mechanism and the tools, and then the value exchange circle, monitors that. And then we have like the member experience circle, right? So member experience is about the onboarding and about, helping, sort of the community management.
Yeah,
So I think that both of those now can be working in parallel. So
Yeah, yeah, but one is more
let's
important than
take
the other.
let's sort of
The
think about
testing the
take
assumption, testing the core assumption of the core feature of this, fuck the community building, does the actual mechanism work? And if we can show that the mechanism works, that yes,
the
person
mechanism
can
is
put their
based on
value on the
people, and
table.
people are community, even if it's 10 people. That's what
Yeah, but
I'm just
we don't need to like invent that. We just need to create the mechanism with our core community. We don't need a community circle to manage the community. Like that's too much overhead. It's too
like
feminine.
it doesn't
Sorry, it's
matter.
too feminine.
I'm just
We
using
need
it,
to test the engineering
just using it
of
in
the
for a
tool,
community.
and if
If
the
it's 10
tool
people,
works,
that's a community of 10 people, right?
then we can like focus on like what's needed to like expand the community. But for now, we just need to take our, like you say, core community, which we already have. We have 100 people, and we just need like 10% of those people out of our 100 to like play ball with us for like a limited run of testing the system. And the system that they're going to be testing is the onboarding and the voucher exchange. That's it. That's the MVP in my opinion. Like we
Yeah,
don't need
I just
anything
don't
else.
think
We don't need
I don't think
tokenomics.
voucher ex-
We, we
I
don't.
don't think voucher exchange. I don't know if it flies with only 10 people.
It
That
does.
it's like, are there out
Yes,
of
it
10
does.
people, are there services that I want? I don't know. I mean,
Yes, there are. That's why we like. That's why we curate it. We need writer. We need like coach. Like teachers. We need just the basic things to like execute real world things, and that's going to be like copywriting, website work development, coaching, teaching classes, mental health or whatever. We have that limited core, and we're just going through the motions just to sort of see like, oh, but if this happens, that's for our core alpha, pre-alpha. This is our prototyping phase, even before we have a prototype. Like if we spend
what
like months and months trying to work on a prototype
what
and it
is
doesn't
stopping
work.
us from doing that then? I mean, all you're talking about a Google form and a spreadsheet and
Yep.
somebody to facilitate it, right?
And then I guess like for me the facilitation process is is yeah, I mean like we definitely don't need to like make it harder than it needs to be at this stage. It's just I just wish that there was uh a way to but yeah, we can just do it manually. It's like
Oh, yeah,
so
absolutely.
so, so with a small group of people like just trading services, then we just like sort of like do a manual sort of process so that we can put like so we can create a ledger of time and then credits and then we we have a way for the people, so people can see the
So
line sheet.
who's doing all? I get it. I mean,
Like we just need what does the MVP
who's doing
include?
all of that? Because
And then that could be done in a day. And then what is that one day of work to get to MVP and then test the assumption? And then we get the feedback of like, oh,
we need
okay,
10 people. So that's the thing that the spreadsheet
we
is
have 10 people. We have 10 people. We need the basic sort of database system for those 10 people. So uh maybe I'll spend like a minute like talking to Pavel about like what we're trying to do, because that's what his first company was, like to help people get to MVP in a day. That was his selling point for Wacomos. It was like MVP in a day. You have an idea, we get you to MVP in a day. Um, battery. For me, the onboarding, um, uh, but even before that, it's like, I mean, that's the profile generation, but it's really the core action is the voucher credit system. That's the action, and so we need it, and that's like this entire thing, this entire idea is based on that. Is a pool of value being put in by people promising that they will contribute their time and their skill sets into a pool, and then they receive credits for doing so, and then they use those credits to access other people's time. That's the core assumption that we have to prove actually works. And so for me, I would like to focus this on something that's really easy, that doesn't take people a lot of time, which is like one-on-one trainings, skill shares, and then simple things like blog writing, or simple things that are like one-off, execute, done. They don't need to take it home with them. They don't need to like think about it for days and weeks. It's just really easy tasks that people can trade. A writer can trade, and we just need to see if we can and get like some actual tangible results that we can point to and say, look, we got this done, and we're tracking our impact, and we're like, here's what we got done without needing cash. So now, like, what's the next phase? So now we want to bring in like 100 people to put in their value inputs and like test that, and that's going to be over like 6 months. That's going to be like a thing, and then during that phase is when we're like, before we bring in that 100 people, we'll have like a better a basic interface, like a decent interface. But right now, like you say, we just need like simplest of forms and the simplest of ledger, a Google sheet, and so what happens is, and I could have Pavel build this, but essentially, like, person puts in a profile that goes on the database. Then their name is in the database. They log in and they create a voucher with their name, and the voucher goes into the line sheet. And then we don't need to like automatically issue credits to them. We can do that manually. We can just go down and put numbers on the lines after they come in. So they put in yeah, that'll work. So I'll let you go now, but I think that's the basic MVP is a form for profile entry and a form for voucher creation after they've done the profile entry. And then we get a line sheet of vouchers. And then we go down the list, and on that list we see the voucher, we see the issuer of the voucher, Basil or Rob or whoever, and then next to the voucher we put credit number, 4 tokens, and then we can sort it a different way to see Basil has 16 tokens, Rob has 16 tokens, and then so then we have that. And then that's like step 1 is getting the vouchers, manually creating the tokens just so we can see it, how it works. And then we have to start to exhaust the vouchers and the tokens. And that can be a manual process where we're just zeroing out, normal accounting. But we end up with a result. So it's like, so then we have a post-action report. And so I think that the next 2 weeks, while we're still going through, especially you are going through like the modeling and all that stuff, we can at least like try to get a basic prototype thing for like real impact, real measurable outcomes. Blogs written, films edited, podcasts recorded, or whatever. We can start to like then we can start to like slowly onboard more people to like come in, join the co-op, put in your vouchers. Here's how it works. We're still in alpha testing.
Okay, so somebody, yeah, I just that like it's not that much, but it still is effort, right? Somebody has to contact all those 10 people, right? Tell them what we're doing. Say, and then sort of facilitate that. Oh, have you filled out your form yet? Right. So somebody is facilitating and telling all of the people. So that's 10 people, and then right, and then saying, okay, like now fill out your voucher. Right. There's a process that's still being created there. So
Yeah, there's still human labor.
I'm not willing to do that process and go through
Fine.
the whole process just for 10 people. While I'm also doing all of this. Like, I'm happy to like be a part of it and facilitate it and put in my vouchers, but I don't want to like start I don't want to start. I don't know. It's just like
You're
like,
setting your boundaries.
like
You
find
do
the
not want
people.
to burn your time talking to people. outside of like the development core.
And
So
I know these
so
are our people, right? So this is not like it's not like a challenge, but it's still they're
somebody needs to take ownership over
onboarding
that process.
process.
Yeah. And I don't know whether if it's not you, I don't know that it's me, but somebody that we know closely that knows what we're doing will be responsible for guiding people through that process. And it might be as simple as like,
Well, Christine is interested in doing that, but she's, I don't know that I think that she's interested in in a more, thorough kind of process
that's the problem. Is like in Silicon Valley, you ship early and you iterate. Like you just like we need to prove the case that like shit can get done, and here's how. And it can start with the smallest of small groups, and then so I you know
Yeah, I just yes,
move. We
I
need
don't
to move
know.
faster. We're a little we're all kind of slow actually.
No, we don't have any
Yeah.
funding, so we have to, like, I'm doing this. This is all just, my
That helps make
passion
us slow.
project, and it's still, I think, going.
Yeah,
So,
but then so the faster that you see actual tangible results to show people to excite them, the better. The faster you're going to get funding.
I just
Just
don't
like
know
an
that there's going
idea
to be
isn't
any
going to get you
exciting
funding.
results coming from 10 people.
Well, if
I
you
don't know
can't
the
see
10
results
people in the
coming from 10
spreadsheet.
people, then what makes you think you can see results coming from 100 people?
I see results coming from maybe like 25. I think a
And
number
you
to
just
start
set
with.
you set a threshold of like, let's get 25 people, and then who's going to be responsible for helping to like get like to curate that we have like different kinds of people that have like real skills that they can offer.
And I don't see like a problem with getting 10 people. I don't actually see like I don't think it's a bad idea what you're talking about. I'm just saying I have a limited amount of time, and that's not the approach that I take. So I can't put my time into that and then put my time into like the next, like the 25. You know,
But the system is the same. It's just we can like get to 10 people much faster than 25, you know, about the same. We should be able to get to 25 like, like pretty quick because it would be a series of like Zoom meetings with them to like guide them through the process, have them all
yeah.
do
And,
it.
the other thing is I don't think that I don't think that what I am working to build is just about the vouchers. I don't think that's what that's not, the value like you said, the value proposition is meeting your needs, while like also being able to, earn a meaningful livelihood while also working to, create societal transformation.
Okay.
So I don't know that just the voucher system is that.
Then
It's
you need to put like
it's the community. It's the
OKRs.
voucher
You're just
system
going to be
works
objective, meet
with
your needs, contribute to society, da 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 da. So if you have those objectives, we just need the measurable key results. What can we measure to prove that we're hitting those objectives? And then when you sort of like outline the key results of those objectives, then we can focus on execution. You have the idea, we need to then execute the idea, reflect. So I'll leave you with this. I was taught this by this 78-year-old guy in San Francisco, and he's like, when you're working in like what we're doing now, there's the five elements: water, wood, fire, air, metal. And so water it starts with water, which is the idea, the vision, and then you build the wood, which is the structure. Then you burn. Then you light the fire, and then you get air off of that fire that you can measure, and then you get back to metal that reflect. So what happens when it's not working, you can look at where the problem occurs, and then there's a solution. So for instance, if because it's a star, so it's like if you're not getting enough air or results, there's probably a problem with the vision, or the structure. Uh, um, if you're not getting to fire, you're stuck at just building the structure. you're stuck at the structural part. Anyway, there was a thing. So what I see is like you and me are like really good with the water, the idea, um, and then I'm really good at burning. I'm really good at the fire. I'm a fire, double fire sign. Um, but where I'm not good is as much as the structural part, like building that structure. Um, but I'm definitely good at the water and the fire. So like when we can, and then we have like other people, that are really good at reflecting. I mean, I think maybe you are a good reflector. Um, when you're looking at something and you reflect. Um, but yeah, it's like we just need to like, you know, get over this hump of like years and years of idea and vision that we've all been at forever, and like get to actual results. And so that's my forcefulness right now is I see it. I can kind of see it. I'm with you, and I'm just trying to like get to execution, so then we can reflect on, was that good or not good, and then we go back to one and we keep iterating, we keep ideating, building, burning, reflecting, and like we keep going until like it's serving. So if you, for your mind, feels like, for you to wrap your head around it better, you want to see how 25 people with different skill sets or different offerings going into the system, what that looks like, and then like for us to start to do the trades, and then we're measuring the results, not just we're measuring like the rate of flow of
Yeah, I
like
think we do need
exhaustion.
to figure out what we're measuring. I think that's very true.
And then we're we're also measuring the outcomes. And the way that we do that is with the post action reporting. So I see like for our database, for our form entry, it's like the profile, that's one thing. Then it's like the voucher creation, the voucher exhaustion, and then like the post action, the post exhaustion like form, like to report the action, after action report. So then we're collecting these reports off the vouchers, and that just helps us to like figure out like the quality of the vouchers essentially. um you know and then we also, for things that become tangible, like somebody gets training in X, or something gets done like a blog or a film edit or whatever, then we're also like collecting that ledger of things that have happened, and they're in different categories. And then at the end of the day, we're able to sort of point to that sort of impact that's been done, that's like social impact, intellectual impact, and like tangible, other impacts, you know and then that's really where we, I think, prove what we're trying to do is like we want to like create a world where like stuff gets done, it gets done collaboratively, it doesn't always just require fiat money to get it done. And so we're creating that system, and then that's how we can like bring more people in, because there's plenty of people that the system is supposed to be for. We just need to showcase it. We just need like some proof points, some
Yeah,
measurables.
yeah.
Right. I think by next year, we're good, and especially if we're able to like weave that into like this hack idea for like getting people in Tulsa, like locally, to put value on the table, to like on board and put
Absolutely.
value
Yeah.
for the Uplift Tulsa sort of local co-op, because that'll also let you start seeing like, oh, how would it work with like a local co-op gathering people locally working on this platform, and
Yeah.
then with that scale to like a bunch of local
So,
entities.
so, okay. So yeah, and I think I think, we're getting at the heart of what we're talking about here, which is right. Like, cause I'm not seeing it, getting answers at 10 people, right? I'm seeing like 25 is the number that's coming
Sure.
in. You're saying it's right. So I'm not saying that 25 is right, 10 is wrong, but I can't spend the effort, on 10,
Copy. So
so
if you as like the mission director there, say, agenda item, we need to get to 25 people as soon as it makes sense to get to 25 people and then start testing some assumptions with that group.
Right. So then what do we need to, to get to 25 people actually using it, right? So this is,
What is the minimum?
uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's, yeah, I mean, that's right. That's where I'm at. I'm also, if like you're like, hey, I'll start with a spreadsheet and find 10 people and start working on it. And Rob, I'll put in my vouchers. Like, that's fine. You're good. Like,
I
go
think if
for
we
it. But
just,
I
I
can't.
think I agree with you of like at least building some sort of like process to test the process. So like the onboarding process, the voucher creation process, and then like the voucher usage process or the reporting process at
Yeah.
the end. So then we're
So,
able to like have the 25
yeah.
people.
So
Um,
if you have the time, right, if and when you have the time, I think that is something, right, that you can contribute, which is just to come up with like those, right, these, uh, like the user journeys, right, the like the use cases, and right, or like like what are we asking of people at the end, or what are the things that we're measuring, right?
right,
So
yeah.
any of this stuff that you have thoughts about that you want to contribute, right? Like that's going to be helpful.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So that'll
Those
be in
are all
the
things that
next
have to be
phase.
sort of like thought of and thought through, and right. So
We-
so if
So we
somebody
need the
else
place
like
to put in the user journeys, like so that would like on a mural or something, to
yeah,
create the.
we've got HSC Miro boards.
Okay, so then send me a link in Discord for like the Miro board where you think would be good to sort of like map out like some avatars and user journeys.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, so send me that, and then I'll try to like spend some effort on that. And then and then we and then a document uh, to just talk about like so that we can iterate and have other people sort of comment on for like the onboarding questions. And we just put that in document format. And then yeah, then that way on a document we have like onboarding sort of and then voucher creation questions. That'll be another form,
yeah, yeah,
that goes
yeah.
into the database. And
Yeah,
then after action report, after
yeah.
finishing report.
You want to do? I mean, do you want to like start that document? Because you can start the document. You don't have to like fill it out. You can start the document and put those on.
A clean document. Okay.
Oh
All
yeah,
right.
that'd be great. And as you well know, we have, which you certainly should be a part of it. We have the shared drives. So
Copy. Yeah.
yeah. So I think member experience is what we're talking about, and that's the link that I just added.
Okay,
Actually, I
great.
think that that we've already got a member experience. Yeah, here's our
Perfect.
process doc. So you can create.
Great. So I'll start there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Here, let me put the.
Let me check and make sure I mean, it's on D Studio server, so should be fine. Let's see here. Drive, shared drives. Okay, so then for you to be happy, 25 people going through the motions for us to see how that might work. If while you continue to sort of like
Yeah, I think
build that.
25. I think something like this. Yeah, 25 people is
Okay,
yeah is the MVP size to me.
awesome, awesome. Okay, cool.
And then when you have 25 people, right, then you have a little bit more of a of a facilitated onboarding process. And then you have sort of a nice enough user interface, right? Doesn't all have to be perfect. You're right, but yeah, nice enough user interface, right? You have already sort of some like those 10 core people, right? You get those 10 core people involved first, and then it's going to be easier to get the other 15. I think that's at a minimum of 25. Again, that's my guess, to like have people feel like they're it's worthwhile for them to contribute, because it's right. It takes,
Copy,
it's
copy,
time.
copy. Yeah, yeah, no, so yeah, I can help with like that because then I would be picking specific people so that we have like a wide range of like clear um vouchers, like help with your taxes or like real things that people
Yeah,
need,
yeah.
you
And you
know.
get it right, and also this is going to give us, to get 25 people, gives us time to, hone the value proposition, right? And create a, MVP, deck, right? So that way when like you go and you talk to that people, right? So you talk to that accountant, because that's the person we want. Oh yeah, an
That'll be
accountant.
John Connors. John Connors is for
Oh
taxes.
yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. So I think, yeah,
Because he needs help with like social media,
it's
production, all of that stuff.
perfect. That's perfect, right? Because that's a real, yeah, that's a real thing everybody fucking needs, right?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
accounting services.
yeah. So we'll go down the list for like core things and then try to like build our first 25 to have a nice diversity of things.
Yeah.
Um, and especially easy things that are just like small project based, you know, uh, vouchers. So, okay, cool. So yeah, so we'll I think we've spent a good time sort of pushing the ball here today. Um, it's already 8 for you. I haven't even
Yeah.
eaten
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
So,
So I need to go and eat dinner and take my walk and all that other stuff and do work, do
okay,
actual
cool.
work. But
All right.
thanks for,
Well, I'll
thanks.
sleep on it. I'm moving on Friday. I guess like we're getting a house that can house like me, Kim, and Trent in the same built space.
Cool.
So then we'll be all back together for a period. See how that goes. But at least then I'll have Trent on the ground to like really, help, you know, help on all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He's definitely a good community person, and he needs to learn more on administration and execution side. And
Yeah. Well, I
so
think this is, yeah, I think, this is something that, I think can be really valuable for people and doable, right? Because it's not like I'd love to spend, 2 hours a day, every day with Trent, just sort of like training him on whatever I know, right? Like I would love to do it. I don't need money for it, but I can't, right? So if we create, a system where I'm able to do what I want to do anyways, but then get my needs met as well, I think
yeah,
that,
yeah,
that can be a winner. So, all right, well, I'm gonna go. So, thank you for doing those things. Miro board, the document, that's great. And the more people contribute, the more that's gonna motivate others, as well.
yep, yep. All right, cool. All right, thanks, Rob.
You
Talk
got it.
soon.
Thanks,
Peace.
man.